Alright,
so
we're...
hit that mic there for a second.
Just hit the record button.
No, you don't need to hit the record button actually.
Just hit it.
You don't need to just tap it, but it's fine. I could see that it was working straight away.
Right.
So,
Frank, come on, man.
I do that. That means we're live.
Oh, we're live now.
Actually live. Well, we were live there a second ago. Now, I think we're live.
Okay.
I could go on YouTube to confirm that, would I?
I don't know. Well, maybe you should, because then otherwise we're going to sit here for an hour and a half chatting.
Yeah. Well, the good thing, we don't really need to, we can kind of keep going as long as we want to, as long as we're enjoying it. So if I just go on here.
Yeah, man.
Onto my channel.
Authentic 100%.
Okay, so there is something happening there now. Alright, yeah.
Lovely.
So we can look at ourselves here.
But slightly behind.
I'd say slightly behind, but
That's
it's not,
what
it
I
can't
looked
be
like
that
15
it's
seconds
not bad
ago.
quality, is it?
No, it's very good quality. Is that a new camera?
No, same camera.
You have to do that thing every half an hour where you reload it.
Yeah, so we need to remember
What is
that
up with that thing?
it cuts out every
Why?
30 because it's not meant to be used for something like this.
But everyone uses it for something like this, right?
You see, I'd say who do you mean everyone now?
Well, I've seen loads of podcasts where people are like, hold on, and they get up every...
Well, so that means it's not set up for it. So it's like 450 quid. If you were to buy one that it was jailbroke, I think you can jailbreak them where you don't have this thing where
Well,
they
that's
cut
what I was
out.
thinking. Is there no setting for it?
Yeah, there's a bit of software, but I looked at it and I thought, no, it's
Yeah.
no, it's not that. It's that.
It's not
just,
money.
It's beyond my capability to try and figure it out.
Ah, right. So you'd have to hire someone to come in just to fix it and so on.
Oh well, I think you can download a patch and shit like that. But even the
Right.
word patch doesn't mean fucking anything to me. Like I just went on to one of those forums saying, "Is there any way you can figure this out that it doesn't cut out?"
Yeah. Well, I suppose you could do anything from YouTube. You just YouTube it, you'll be able to figure out a way to fix anything. But it's just about the time and the effort, right?
Well, you probably could. I actually probably should look into it because it is going to be a pin hoop to remember it. Or should I set a timer and then wondering whether it's 30 minutes or whatever?
Yeah, will you get a little beep, beep, beep then in the middle of the like juicy bit of information?
Some gold that,
Yeah.
more than likely we will.
And
come
I
out of.
open the door and beep, 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 beep. Damn it!
Yeah, it's funny. So this is like we have. I had done 25 recorded ones, and you
Right.
were number 2.
I was number 2.
You were number 2, yeah.
Yeah. That was a
And
lot.
so this is the first
it feels
live
amazing.
one ever.
So is this going to be a continuous sort of thing? Live?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're just playing it by.
Well, I just think, to be honest with you, I think that I might close the windows just for the sound effects.
Sound. Yeah, okay, go
I
ahead.
think that
Can we take off our tops then?
that'd be lovely.
This is quite warm.
Oh,
I'm not intermitting.
actually, there's probably a way to do this that we can let air in. Is there, or would it still be sound?
No, leave it.
But you see, I kind of think I made, not that I made a mistake, but you see, this typical, I did the podcast and then I started going, and I really enjoyed doing them with the likes of you and Alan and some friends, and a few of them that I'd met, but then I ended up doing them with a few people that I don't know why I kind of went outside of my friends.
Because you were looking for like interesting and unique people, was that it? Or a specific subject matters.
Well,
that
maybe
sort
I
of-
was looking that this person might help the channel grow, or
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Well, man, you have to do that.
Well, I know you do, but and you see, it's such a lottery. This thing. I think that if you can somehow, and I know you see, it's the thing that I kept saying. If we can enjoy doing it, you say, I wouldn't mind doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Or I was saying to him this morning that we would do, and he was saying, well, sure, let's just give it a go for 3 or 4 times and see. Do we enjoy doing it?
Do you know
and,
what
and live at least is more. There's no hiding in the live. No, not that I cut anything.
Well, I've been watching Tiger Belly. Now I don't even know why I watch this. It's a lunatic podcast, but it's like this old. There's a comedian called Bobby Lee.
Okay.
Old Asian American comedian, and they just get on and they just talk. And it could just go anywhere. And it's not like every time they get on, they're like, this is a specific subject matter. Yeah. But because it's so improvised and blah, 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 then it's actually really entertaining and refreshing. Instead of like every time you put on a podcast, it's like, this is what we're going to talk about. This is the special subject. Yeah. You know, but the thing is with those things, I suppose with Tiger Rally, you have to just keep going and going and going and going to build a base.
Well, you have to keep going if you want to keep going. Like, I kind of just felt the draw to do it. And then Emmett had said to me, we should go for live. And then I was out running and I was thinking about the ones that I enjoyed the most. And then I sent you a message.
And now we're here.
And now we're here, yeah.
Oh, and it's Tuesday.
And it's Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. And I've actually had been crazy busy up until this point. So it's great. Now I have like a lull.
Well, there was kind of half talk of us meeting up a few times, and then
I've been sort of back and forth. It's a weird year for me now, but so I kind of all plateaued right at the moment, which is nice.
You mean work has? So
work has plateaued a little bit because I've 2 or 3 different jobs on the run, so they're kind of quiet this week. But next week could be crazy. It's events for corporates, so I could just get a phone call and be like, actually, we have 2 gigs next week. So but while I have the time off, I'm just painting the kitchen.
And are you studying?
Loads of fun. Yeah, I am, but I'm on holiday at the moment. So I study part-time. So I study from October till, the end of May. So the job finished the first week of June, I should say.
And it's happening. You're going to complete year 1 and pass year 1, the exam?
Yeah, well, I'm just waiting on my results now, which should come through in the next couple of weeks. And that should be no bother. I mean... in reality, I should have got a 1-1 this semester, but I had some issues that I had to deal with at the beginning of the year, and that affected one of my papers, and I had a really low score in it.
Well, 1-1 is impressive.
Yeah, so I think I'll get a 2-1, but I wanted a 1-1.
And psychology,
yeah, and it's just the basics. So it's like, and in reality, it was only a half a year that I did. So I did a half a year. And then I'll do another half a year this year. And then the following 2 years, I'll do full-time.
Full-time. And so how many years is it?
4 years in total. Oh, that'll make it 4 years in total, yeah.
And then, what will you be?
Well, then I would just have a degree in psychology. So then after that, what I'd have to do is I'll have to do a master's in psychology. And then during the master's, I'll probably work as a counsellor part-time, which I'll be able to get from my psychology degree. And then I'll have to do at least 2 years of experience before going to do the doctorate, which is 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the long-term plan. But to be honest now, to be smart, I'm not looking any further than 4 years, which is getting the degree.
Yeah.
Once I have the degree, then I'll plan for the next 4 years after that. Or as I get closer to it.
It'd be a momentous thing to go and do that, I think.
What, to get my degree again?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be a change. Life is weird. I told my agent that I no longer want to work with him this year. You know that way. So I gave up on acting. Although he does give me a call every now and then going, there's an advert for a lot of money. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'll go for that. Because advertisements, I'll never stop doing that.
And so what is it? You just can't be arsed going for...
I can't be arsed going for TV. I can't be arsed going for theatre. I can't be arsed doing any of that.
Auditioning?
I was always very anxious during auditions. But it's not just that. It's just I don't feel the love, dude. I don't feel the love anymore. I still am artistic. I mean, that doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Like, I still write in my head every day, and I still,
Write in your head every day?
Yeah, like stories and situations constantly. I mean, that's basically how I live. I live in a dream world, so I think I should, create it into a reality, that?
Do you think everybody lives in a dream world? What do you mean a dream world? Like, you live in your imagination. And do you have ideal imaginations of things scenarios and things?
Yeah, and different stories that I could write. I mean, if I was able to write every story that popped into my head, I should just do it. But I don't, But a million stories a minute, yeah.
It's very difficult to stay with a story and love it all the way to the end.
Yeah.
I mean,
you've written a novel.
I have, yeah.
You stayed with that to the end.
And I've tried 10 times, or not 10 times, but I've tried a huge amount of times.
That doesn't matter. You're supposed to fail loads, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you completed a novel.
I did complete a novel,
It's sitting there on the bookshelf, right?
Yeah, there's a few copies
That's pretty amazing, right?
It is, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I don't kind of look at it that way. I wish I could go, I just think, oh, maybe I fucked up the novel, and maybe I should have just gone. In my mind, the original idea was one way, and then I didn't feel that was what I wanted to do. You see, because I wanted to be interested all the time writing the book.
Yeah.
And then when I knew what way it was going to turn out, I started to doubt it, and then it changed.
And well, change is good though, but it's weird because I'm sitting here saying to you like, oh, come on, you should be so proud of that. But if I was in your shoes, I'd probably be thinking the same way. Like, you know, like I've written plays and I've written movies.
Yeah,
and I was like, I'll just leave them over there. They're fine. I've written them. I've achieved that. But I'll just leave it in this box.
Yeah, but what do you think the thing is that we'd go, oh, I'm delighted with that now. Like, I had a short story published. Now, I'm delighted with that.
Right.
Because that's actually that there. You see that one? You see the book above, The Biology of Belief, The Way of the Shadows. See that?
This.
In a short story. So I have a short story that was out of 4,000. Mine was one of 50.
No way.
Now, I was dead proud about that.
That is something to be proud of. Yeah.
But that's because it was almost, like somebody validated it to say to me, oh no, that's a
well
good story.
done.
Yeah, I'm a good laddie. I'm good. Yeah, a little pat in the back. But you see, that's the thing though, isn't it, about making it? Is it, do you ever feel like, oh, what's this thing up? I need to make it, and then what's this final stamp? Okay, you can write now. You're a writer. Work away, and you're not crippled by doubt. And
that's why I quit acting as well.
go on.
Because no matter what you achieve in acting, you're always back to ground zero. All right, say if I did a Hollywood film tomorrow, and I finished filming the Hollywood film, let's say the end of September. From the day that film finishes, I have no job.
Yeah.
I am redundant again.
Yeah.
Okay, the movie's going to come out and I might need to do a bit of advertisement, but I'm redundant till I find a new job.
Yeah.
And in acting, that is always the case. So you get a big theatre role. As soon as the theatre role ends, your money ends and your career is on hold until you get your next job.
And there's the downer, apparently.
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah, well, there is
downer,
that.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they say, like, rock and rollers do loads of drugs. Because after the concerts and after the tour, then they get home and they have 3 months where they're just doing nothing and they're just sitting at home. After like 2 nights before, they were in front of 8,000 people screaming their name.
Well, it's peak experience, I suppose, isn't it? And then coming down after peak experience. But
Yeah.
sorry, you were saying that's why...
So that's kind of with acting, yeah.
With the nothingness afterwards.
The nothingness afterwards, and like you're constantly going to be chasing your tail. I mean, I know that you're doing that in life anyway, but like within other careers or say within psychology or something like that, you could still make a base where you're making enough money to survive and then be developing yourself on top of that, right?
Yeah.
Which is why you should be doing all the time, right? Development.
You do need that fucking that was one of the reasons, I suppose. Maybe you do need that creative output. So say I'm back doing a bit of consultancy and marketing work. I felt the craving of, oh well, I need a bit of freedom stuff. I need a bit of some sort of creative venture, or some whatever the fuck that outlay is. I just need it.
Yeah.
I feel myself almost starting to kind of panic. Almost, is this? You know, I need to maybe write a movie or do something again where there's some sort of feeling that there's an output. Yeah, I don't know what the
that's
fuck
why
it
you
is.
do this, isn't it? As well, I suppose. Is this a creative output in the same way?
Well, it's putting yourself out there, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit.
The thing is, we would be talking like this if we were sitting in the kitchen.
Yeah, we would. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like literally, we were just downstairs and we started having a conversation. Like, stop talking.
Yeah.
Let's get upstairs. So I suppose this isn't really creative. It's more just.
But I suppose what I do think about it is that the creative side of it is being, if you can somehow be true to yourself in a sense of, you know what I mean? That's kind of analysing it too much. But say in this forum, the only thing that can be totally original, and I think it's the same in art and all creative venture, the only real thing you have is yourself, not your pretend self or your fucking, just the way you are, you bring to the table. And so if you bring yourself to the table in your artistic venture, whether it's music or film or acting, like, I mean, they say in acting, the best acting is not to act.
Yeah.
Almost.
It's just to be.
Just to be. And I think in something like this, that if somehow you can manage that, if you can somehow manage to be a little bit at peace with the idea of, that you're not trying to fucking pretend that suddenly they disappear, the microphone disappears, and then it is just like it is downstairs and the banter is just the same.
Yeah,
it's the total
freewheeling
conversation, yeah.
You see, it's interesting it's interesting about just bringing yourself. I was saying it to Ray Cudahy, who we've had on here. I think just 2 years ago. I was like, I believe that the way to make it nowadays is through honesty.
Yeah.
Like just with the way the world is at the moment.
Yeah.
It's like those people who are fake news. It's terrible, right? Donald Trump has given us a new language.
Yeah.
But those people who are out there trying to be I'm trying to be this actor. I'm trying to be this blah blah blah. People are seeing the fakeness in that now. While in the past, like the last 30 years or so, that's how you got up there. You had to be play the game and blah blah blah. But now because of YouTube and stuff like that, like have you seen that guy Hobo Johnson?
Sorry.
Have we clicked off? There is a noise.
We've clicked off.
Oh, it's an alarm.
No, it's not. It's my mate Kenneth.
Oh, Ken. I do like Ken.
Have you met Kenneth?
Do I know Kenneth?
No.
Do I not?
No.
That's a different Ken, is it?
It's a different Ken, yeah.
Right.
Kenneth.
Oh, Kenneth.
Kenneth.
But I've noticed. So like it's the people who are purely honest, like in these sort of conversations, who are doing well. Like, have you heard of a guy called Hobo Johnson?
No.
This is like a young guy from Sacramento who just started putting his songs up on the internet. Now he's got a world tour and stuff like that.
Wow.
But he just completely is honest about how his mother left the family and all of that sort of stuff. So, and I think it's his bare honesty that has made him like propel so quickly upwards. Because people, it's also like when I watched that Tiger Belly thing, I was thinking this today. There's the guy Bobby has obviously got serious issues. Like he doesn't sleep at night. And he's got a lot of issues, right? And it's kind of that car crash honesty, that way where it's like, this guy is telling us exactly who he is, and it's kind of pathetic almost to a degree. And that's why I watch it, because this guy here, his honesty, and he's being his real self, which very few people are. But it's kind of pathetic, and so I can look at that and go, well, my life is good. Isn't it? And
that's kind of like EastEnders or something.
Yeah, and I've kind of noticed this. But so there's that, so it's a dual thing. I don't know, I'm just thinking of this now, so you have the honesty, which is great.
Yeah.
But then you also have the honesty so much that we can go, oh, well, he can be that honest, because then I don't have to, that right? Because if I show
it's funny as well, like, how honest do you go? Like, do you kind of, do you totally freewheel it? Like, I did a podcast with Joe Rooney, and it was his podcast, and I was kind of in one of those moods where I was just fucking totally effing and blinding and freewheeling. I was in bad form, and I just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, I was going, oh, fuck, like, the reality is that if you are putting yourself out there, and you are, do you want to be perceived as this? And like, I was just over-analysing it, because I listened back to it and I went, here. But you see, I started talking about psychedelics at the end, and then I started saying with kids, 19, 20-year-old, they should all just run out into the field and have loads of sex and take loads of drugs, because that's what you should do when you're 20. And then I thought afterwards going, that's totally irresponsible. And there was all this. Yeah. And then I just thought, oh, shut the fuck up. Like, either go and do this, and because the joy of doing this thing is the freewheeling. Yeah. Is the feeling that, well, this is who I am, and fucking take it or leave it. But it's more so about yourself accepting yourself, if that makes sense. That you're kind of okay with, this is the lunatic, this is the thing that is, because you kind of fix in your mind, well, you should be a certain way, and then you go on, you do something like this, and you see yourself, and you go, oh, fuck yeah, no, that's not the way I want to be. I want to be this way or that way, and then it becomes a load of bullshit then. I
had that from when we were doing Go Live. Like, I always felt like I was being too, all right, I have to be intellectual, and
you were great though.
This is how I am,
I thought you were. Everybody said you were fucking total natural.
I really liked it. I really enjoyed doing it. But when I look back on it, that's what I do to myself. I go, oh, look at you, you're being too analytical. Why don't you loosen up a bit?
Well, isn't it funny though? But when we would see it, we would all. That's the way you would see yourself.
Yeah.
And when we would look at you, we'd all go, oh God, he's so articulate. He's able to say things. A kind of a complex idea, is able to put it across really well. And you're going to yourself, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it's it just going with that complete honesty thing where you kind of regret it. I did that. Remember, I was doing life modelling, which I started doing through Go Live. Which is
fucking brave, yeah.
So I did that for a year. I made quite good money from it. I got quite well known, and I still get
quite well known
within the scene. I'd often get phone calls going, "Look, can you come down?" And from strangers going, "Look, I've heard that." Okay. Like the RHA Gallery calls me, and
Wow.
Yeah. But I haven't really done any of them. I've kind of backed away from it this year. But at the end of the year of me doing it, they were making a documentary, right?
All right.
So I was given a call and they was like, look, we're going to do this life modeling movie.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, fucking sign me up for that shit, right? I'll get my self naked on camera it was good money. It was a good money.
Yeah.
However, I got some really bad news just before we filmed. So that was in like January 2017. And then like the end of November, early December 2016, I got some really heavy news. You know about it.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
So I was not in a good place mentally. I was severely depressed, bad thoughts. And to put it lightly, I got a diagnosis of illness which could have been potentially fatal if untreated.
Yeah.
So I had just learned this and found out that I mightn't be able to get treatment because you have to go into queues, to wait to get your treatment, just whatever. So I was severely depressed, man.
Yeah.
And then we filmed this, and it's like candid interviews with the person, and I thought I was great at the time, right? So a year later it comes out. It was about January, February, and I went to watch it, man. Like it was like watching a dude who's on death row, just like, well, this is contemplating life and stuff. And I was looking at myself going, I shouldn't have been up here. And then there was other things like Jung. Carl Jung.
Yeah.
The shadow and all of that. Right?
Yeah.
So the shadow is the concept that within you there is a shadow or a dark part of you. Yeah. And one of his quotes is like, the shadow reaches all the way to hell. Anyway, the movie maker, not even really knowing Carl Jung, saw this amazing quote and put it in, talking about the shadow. And I had no idea what it was. So it's just me rambling on shite about this shadow. I'm like, oh, the shadow, blah, blah, blah. But then a year later when I'd watched it, I'd studied Jung and I knew what it was. So I'm watching myself not only highly depressed on camera, but also having no fucking idea what I'm talking about, rambling on in this documentary. And and then a year later, because I'd grown so much in 1 year, because the shock of the illness and then dealing with it and getting over it, made me grow, made me change, basically, but in a big way. And so then you're watching yourself a year later going, oh, fuck. Not only do you sound like a bit of an idiot, if you know what Jung is, and then also highly depressed. So,
but
so that was a weird outside perspective.
When you were saying, well, I know you knew you were highly depressed. Do you think you could see that in you?
Oh, I could feel it at the time, yeah.
But no, sorry, I know at the time you did, but when you were looking at yourself, could you knew? The average person.
Oh, no, you'd know.
Would
because
you?
of what I was saying, man.
Okay,
when we finished, one of the other girls in it, her boyfriend, who I'd never met before, gave me a hug. Just came up to me outside the movie and just went, hey, man. And I was just there like, oh, God, this is weird. It was so weird.
But that, you see, you're very open. I mean, even there now, I could see in your brain going, why should I be saying this? Or
I was like, how far do I go? How far do I go?
I have no idea of time, so I'm just going to press record.
Well, to be honest, I had thought about that before coming out today.
Yeah.
I thought, like, how honest are you going to be? Like, because I'll be honest with you, yesterday, I was like, if I was in the mood I was in yesterday, you know the way you said you were in a terrible mood that time?
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, I don't know if I'll do this tomorrow.
Yeah, well,
not in the mood that I was yesterday,
Yeah.
And I was going to say it to you, if I was in that mood today, like, I don't know if we'll get good content today, man, because some days my brain jumps, that way.
I think everybody's does, though.
Yeah. No, they do.
Because, I mean, it's not like I'd be waking up going, oh, when I like this morning I woke up and I thought, oh, fucking, like,
Dylan's gonna fuck.
No, but I just thought, not about you was too self-obsessed, but more just that I'm not feeling great. I'm fucking just feeling tired. I really didn't sleep well. I'm not sleeping well with the heat.
Oh, are you not now?
Which is, fuck it. It's not that warm, but I'm not sleeping well with it.
Yeah.
And
you haven't acclimatized yet, no? At all.
Look at my pale Irish fucking skin is never going to acclimatise. No, come on. At least you've got some sort of a
Man,
there must be some foreign influence in your.
I've been working. I've been
now.
working in the sun for the last 2 months, and that's the most tan I have.
Yeah,
I'm out every day.
I haven't been in the sun, and I've still got a tiny bit of colour,
your freckles are all joining up.
Yeah, but they will fucking join into one.
My brother. Yeah.
But sorry, the point being just that I think it's just the way it fucking goes. And another day you can come on, you'll be really pumped up, And then you kind of, if you were looking back, you kind of annoy yourself going, oh, I'm so full of shit there. I look pumped up and up my own hole there talking away like this.
Yeah.
So,
do you ever look back at the go live and question yourself?
Well, there's the 20-minute summary. When I was starting to get back into the bit of consultancy,
I love that 20-minute summary.
And it's still on Vimeo, but it was on YouTube, and I took it off YouTube because of the when I'm putting the thing in my mouth.
In your mouth.
No, I still have it in Vimeo. I haven't got rid of it. But I was looking at it going...
Because you're there like, should I? I was sitting right there. And you're like, should I? Should I? And she just goes, bloop.
But then you're kind of looking at yourself going, oh, should that represent you? And like, I don't really want to care whether it represents me or not. But then when I was starting to try to get back into a little bit more serious work, I thought, well, how is that possible?
Translate? Yeah.
But I don't really want it to get into that much serious work.
And there's me sniffing chocolate.
Sniffing well, now we all did in the end.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I've been telling people about that actually. I was like,
the sniffing chocolate.
Sniff chocolate.
I don't know whether from the buzz, did we get a high?
I
did get a high from it.
I definitely got a high.
Yeah, I feel like I did because I remember trying to interview somebody afterwards and just being really excited, and it just didn't make sense that I should be so excited.
No man, that definitely works. Snorting chocolate, yeah.
100%
cocoa.
It was 90% cocoa we had, was it?
Yeah, just about 100. I think it was 99% or something like that.
Yeah,
you gotta get it, and you gotta mix it with mint. I'd never do it again now, but it was interesting. Yeah.
But it was deadly to do something like that live. Like I've actually looked back in it, and I think was it Ray comes in and goes, now, just when we were doing, you need to get the plate on, when you're with the filming on, so that we could show the live footage of us snorting. I think I just wanted you to do it, and you were going, you're not going to fucking do this. And
I remember that. Yeah. And then Emma just popped into the shot.
Yeah, and had to go.
Yeah,
no, I don't. I look back at it as being an unbelievably adventurous thing to do. Like one of the most adventurous things I've ever done.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It was,
man. It was fantastic. And that 20-minute clip, I said this to you before. In 10 years, we'll turn that on.
Yeah.
Do you remember that fucking time we did?
But it was. I think you could say that we were slightly ahead. I mean, it's not that any of us have regrets, but I do say if we had just gone for YouTube and fucked Facebook, not done it on Facebook.
Yeah, we might have done better.
I think it would be a totally different scenario. Yeah,
right.
I really do think that because YouTube is meant for long form shit, and the chaos that would have came across better, and if Facebook, even now, Facebook is just a shithole place to go.
I only turn it on because I get messages through it every now and then. Speaking of long form and this sort of stuff, are you following Joe Rogan and Chaos and Jordan Peterson and these sort of developments that are happening?
Well, I don't know what you mean by chaos, but I am following. What's chaos?
Well, chaos is a lot of what Jordan Peterson talks about.
Okay, go on, yeah.
Chaos and order of the.
Oh yeah. So I finished the book.
Oh, did you read his book?
Yeah, I listened to it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I read it
because he's here on Saturday.
Oh, it's this Saturday.
Yes.
Are you going to it?
I'm not. My girlfriend is over from Manchester.
Okay.
So.
And would you like to have gone to it?
Me and Emmett were supposed to have gone, but now we've kind of made a decision that I love Jordan Peterson. I love his teachings, but I think that a lot of it comes down to the political aspect at the moment, and I just can't be. All right, I'll tell you the truth. I became kind of obsessed with Jordan Peterson. But before he really broke in Europe, because that happened after the Kathy Newman, I was doing it all way before.
Yeah, sure, I was talking to you about it.
One thing that I love, I was first. And then when other people start doing it, I'm like, I'm too cool for that.
Yeah,
it's weird,
that's the hipster thing, man.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
right? But that's actually built.
He's mainstream now, so I'm not really into it.
Yeah. But the truth is that... because I listened to all his lectures, both Maps of Meaning and his personality.
Yeah.
It's part of what pushed me to get into psychology myself. And I really think his teachings are amazing and they're going to help people out. And I think he's... that the world sees a different version of him on all the...
Yeah, it's been painted,
cut and edited. And I've been in massive fights with old friends of mine on Facebook. There's one good thing about Facebook, political debate. But you might find yourself getting thrown in with people who are just like... He's an idiot, that way or whatever. But
well, the thing is, if you haven't fucking read or looked into, you see, I'd say this could happen all the time. It's the one person like you. I have listened to an awful lot of his stuff, and I know he's a man of integrity.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah.
So, and I don't think there's everything is done from a questioning. But if you haven't looked into him and you're just reading the headlines in newspapers, then I'm not engaged.
You're not
in
even going to engage.
No, there's no point.
That's what I stupidly did quite a bit with friends of mine now who I think our friendship won't be the same again.
Yeah, but they haven't actually. They've just read The Guardian and 5 or 6 articles, and then the edited thing from Vice.
Isn't
and all
that
these
mad?
others. To be honest, so you were asking me what I thought of the book. I have read in the hundreds of self-help, sort of self-empowerment books.
Yeah.
And I think his is as good, if not better, than any of them. But it's just a fucking book, and he's just a dude having a go. That's all he is. It might be his life's work and his huge, but all it is it's like he was talking to Joe Rogan about suffering from depression and how he's now gone onto a carnivore diet and that has alleviated his depression. So in other words, here's a guy with a view of life, trying to find meaning in life. Meaning seems to be everything for him, but it's not like he has it fucking sussed.
No,
it's not like he and I don't. And he doesn't try to give the impression that he has it sussed. So you see, people put people up on a pedestal, like he's amazing, or he's fucking. This is Bono or Jim Morrison or Jordan Peterson or a fucking poet or whatever, or an actor, and it's just somebody who takes a shit in the morning, like. Do you know what I mean? It's just somebody who has to wipe his own hole, like. In the end,
that's perfectly right, man.
That's
perfectly brilliantly put. The weird thing you said, the thing you just reminded me of there, is that when I was having these arguments, this is why I kind of turned away from Peterson.
Yeah,
I found myself blindly defending him, like at every point, and not questioning the points that I should have been questioning, because I'm like, he is right, and I do believe he is right.
Yeah,
but he does say some stupid. Well, he doesn't say stupid things. He says things that can be taken out of context too easily within the mainstream media.
Yeah.
And therefore gives people ammunition to paint him as this horrible figure, right?
Yeah.
But I found with myself and a lot of other people, we're arguing points that he puts forward. And yet, when the conversation becomes challenging, we keep fighting the point, even though we're not as eloquent or as well versed as he is, to fight that point.
You do. Yeah.
So I come across someone who's more educated on the subject of equality or equity than I am, and I'm still fighting Jordan Peterson's point, even though they're getting the better of me in the argument. I'm blindly defending him, and that's what I found myself doing. And then I had to stop myself and go, I'm not as versed on this, and if I'm going to engage into these conversations, I need to take a step back and actually understand the subject matter more than I'm doing. And I think that's the danger of a lot of Jordan Peterson's followers, or whatever you want to call them, is that a lot of us are so wrapped up in the idea of the joy that he's given us, or the pathway that he's opened up for us to take within our life, that we stop questioning our own arguments. That way we're just like, blindly defend this man, which is leads to dictatorship.
Well, but it is almost the antithesis of what he is trying to say, and in the essence of what he's trying to say is just sort your shit out, like, and get your own fucking opinion on things, and fucking just like. There's this guy who comes up and he's let's say he's sort of a liberal sort of a dude, right?
Okay.
And he's all.
Is this a real person?
He's a real person, right? But he he'll go to a protest in an envelope sort of dude. That's the way I think. He's all for every single right under the sun.
Right.
And then it appears to him like Jordan Peterson is a certain way, but I'm absolutely certain the man has not researched Jordan Peterson at all. Now, I just said I put one comment up saying something like, well, I think it's really funny that somebody who I thought is a certain way is totally painted in a totally different way by the media. And I think it's just interesting to experience something like that, where the media, like, I've never been in a situation before where I'm on the wrong side of how a character is portrayed. Normally I'm on that liberal perspective or that viewer, and it's the first time in life going, no, we see, because I've looked into his videos and I've read a lot of his stuff, and I think the one thing is he's a questioning person who doesn't claim to have any of the answers, but he's put forth an opinion on shit, and I like that sort of person. Now, he is extremely conscious of who he's dealing with. He's extremely conscious of the media. He's so articulate. You can see him like, really thinking things through and how he answers it. And so he still, within that, fucks up from time to time, but then being asked countless amounts of questions and people saying, what you're really saying is this. Yeah. How many times can you really say? But I wouldn't defend him either. I just say I think it's amusing that I'm on the wrong side of and that he's been portrayed a certain way.
Well, it's great that you see yourself like that and actually take a step back and look at it, because I suppose I'm the same. Yeah. But I'd never picked up on that. I've never been on the other side of the track. It's so weird that you said that, because when you said it in my head I went, oh Jesus, that's the same as me.
Yeah, it is that.
Yeah. And maybe that's why the perspective is weird, and maybe that's why it feels so. Well,
in your mind you're absolutely convinced. Yeah. But it's like the whole fucking debate, the whole abortion thing, which is everybody. There's absolutely no point engaging with somebody on the other side at all, and likewise with me, there's no point engaging with me. I can actually understand. We won't even get into that, but I'm saying it's the exact same. It's the exact same, and they feel equally as strongly as you do, and they've got God on their side. But and then the others have got this liberal, the liberal fucking agenda. And I always would have said, well, I'm a liberal. I'm not a liberal though. I'm a fucking anarchist. Just fuck off, like.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
But isn't a libertarian, because I'm only learning all this jargon, isn't that someone who believes that the government shouldn't interfere with the way they live their life? I think that's it. So in a way, aren't you a libertarian? Because when I heard the definition, I went, that's the way Frank once described it. It's like when you were saying, when we were talking about psychedelics and getting them into sort of use and mainstream to treat as treatments.
Yeah.
You were like, and it's mad that the government tells us we can't do these things when they're obviously beneficial, right?
Yeah.
And you said, I just want to live my life without being told what to do.
Yeah.
So I believe the definition. Now, I don't know.
But some people might want to be told to what to do. Some people and if that's what that makes you happy, then I don't actually give a fuck. I mean, I like, life is tough enough, isn't it? Like trying to sort out your own fucking shit. Like, Jesus. So for me to have a say in somebody else's life, I mean, sorry now. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
No.
Telling people
I just about sort my own shit out. Just about it. Yeah, and it's arguable whether I do or I don't.
Yeah.
Let's just pretend I do.
You do. Let's say you do.
Yeah. Let's just say
definitely.
Yeah. Let's just play that game.
You have it together, Frank.
But he's very. I think it's really interesting though on how somebody like, because I listened to a good bit of the 3-hour his latest chat with Joe.
Yes.
And
he apologized. Well, he talks. Sorry to cut you off, but he talks about how he makes mistakes and how he's flawed.
Well, I thought it was actually you know the one where somebody, or was it Jim Jeffries?
Yeah.
Made a really simple example, and he went, oh, okay, no, you're right.
Yeah.
And I think he got loads of abuse over it, and I actually thought,
good man.
Yeah. No, you're right. No, I'm wrong there. And that's it. Like, who gives a fuck then afterwards?
Yeah.
But it's like everybody's kind of waiting to try and catch him out and kill him and fucking any opportunity to go, now look, it's this thing, confirmation bias, almost looking at somebody and waiting for them to say one sentence that fits the stickers and labels that you have already of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's an interesting time.
Yeah, what do you think the whole chaos and order thing?
That's 100% true. I mean, yin yang. It's been here for thousands of years. It makes sense. Look, I think what he says. I mean, here I am, but this is just Jordan Peterson speak. But I use this a lot now in engaging in conversations or discussions or arguments. Is there things that matter, and then there's matter. That way. Like, matter are the solid forms, and that can all be explained through science.
Yeah.
But then there's the things that matter, which can't be explained through science, which are just part of who we are. Like do we have a spirit, that sort of thing. Like, because situations will make you react in a certain way, and then like a biologist will say, yeah, well, that's because you released a chemical inside your brain at that point. It's like, yeah, but why did my brain release a chemical at that point?
Yeah.
It's like, well, because it picked up on the neurotransmitters. Yes, but why? That's the matter of it. But because it mattered, the situation, that altered me, which altered the biochemistry inside of me, and then changed the decision that I had to make, that way. So what matters is really the most important thing in the world, right? We have matter, and we do need to live and eat and, you know, sustenance and all that sort of physical stuff.
And is that what you think?
But the cerebral side of things, I think, is the most important. Yeah. Because,
that's what you think.
Like, do you ever have bad thoughts?
Yeah.
Like bad thoughts?
Yeah.
Where you kind of become worried about your own thoughts, and you go like, oh my God, I can't believe I had that thought. You know, that way?
Yeah.
Right. So
I don't double up on the bad thoughts.
No,
I just have bad thoughts.
You just have bad thoughts.
And I just go, I need to go for a run or something.
Yeah.
Shit, just to get the excommunicate the darkness.
Exactly.
It just must be a thing getting older. The darkness just fucking comes. I need to get fucking running.
Yeah.
And run.
So how much are you running then? A couple of times a week?
I'd run probably 40k in the week.
Wow.
So that's a lot of darkness to get out.
It's just
that's
darkness
fucking
through the streets.
I know if I have 2 days and I haven't ran,
yeah,
I'd be looking at Newland. I'd be maybe 6 o'clock in the evening, and they would go, you need to go for a run. And I go, oh, I really don't want to go for a run. It's the last thing. And she go, you need to go for a run because everything is wrong. I just get this. So just back to your point there about, well, like everything is wrong. You know, like
in what sense?
Well, when I haven't ran, say, or haven't exercised, or haven't, and I'm downstairs, maybe I haven't eaten, maybe I haven't slept well, whatever things causes, and I'm downstairs in the kitchen, and anything can just drive me fucking, like the saucepan with the old lid broken on it. And I go, why didn't I get a new sauce? I need to get rid of that fucking sauce. And that can escalate into, from a tiny little thing into a huge thing.
Really?
And then I just kind of go, right, okay, well, you need to run now. To just fucking let all that bullshit, and it just dissolves pain.
Do you wait till you get to the top of that? It's not like you see the pan, you're like, I better go for a run because that's gonna get me all the way to here. Or do you wait till you've gotten all the way to there? And
so
then
I've been long enough now that I don't let it get to there,
right,
but I can feel it coming, and it'll start there, and it's just this wrongness.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, there's loads of things that you could say are causes, but for me, exercise is just something that my mind-body makeup needs, I think, to avoid.
I think diet is a huge thing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm slender, right? But I don't
slim as a gym.
I don't eat as much as other people, you know.
No.
And like every now and then, like a couple of times a week, I'll have 2 meal day, you know, that way.
Okay.
But I exercise and I move all the time. But when I was ill last year, and even for the last couple of years leading up to that, I had started cutting all shit out of my diet. No sweets, no bread, no pasta. You know, I don't eat any of that shit. I didn't drink coffee for 2 years. I was only on green tea. I'm back on coffee now because it's delicious. But
I mean, they can take fucking everything, but they're not taking me coffee. Like, that's it.
No, because, you know, science of sleep. I don't want to get into it, but coffee and sleeping is not
really
good. Yeah, man.
But I don't have it after 2 o'clock.
It doesn't matter. All right, so Emma was reading this book, and basically there's like a chemical in your brain that's building up all day, which is the sleep chemical.
Yeah.
And it's building up all day, so when you go to bed, that kicks in and then you sleep, right?
Okay.
But if you drink coffee, it stops that from building up. So it doesn't matter what time you take it. If you take it in the morning, you're slowing down the process of that sleep chemical building. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Well, it does matter. I haven't been sleeping well, and
then
the coffee uptake has gone from 1 cup a day to 1 complete thing a day to twice now.
But you know,
that's 2 pots of coffee a day.
And the worst thing is, that was such a good coffee, I may ask for another one.
Well, that's no problem. No.
Anyway. But then I got the all clear, basically. It was a hard year last year.
Yeah.
Jesus, it was a hard year. And I got the all clear, like perfectly healthy, which is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's a lovely scent, or a lovely couple of words.
I cried when I found out from relief. I cried 3 days before because I imagined the phone call and it was a positive phone call from the doctor, and I cried with relief in my daydream about what was going to happen because it was so tense for a year and a half. You know, it could have gone either way. Anyway, so I started eating a bit of shit again this year because I can. Because before, and this is literal, if I would eat anything, because of the way my body was at the time, I would feel it straight away and I would react quite badly to it, you know. Like if you even notice, like if you look on the top of my head, there's like red dots across here. You see that?
Yeah.
Like they're only there because I ate pizza 2 nights ago.
Right.
I never eat pizza, and the next day I wake up and I have heartburn and I have a rash all across my head.
There's the fucking Washington Times article that says fucking bread and pasta causes heart disease, not
Bread
fats.
and pasta are pure poison. All right.
I mean, but
When you look-
I love toast.
Watch. When you look at a package of food, right, it says carbohydrates of which sugars.
Yeah.
And the reason why when you digest, especially white bread and pasta, it turns into sugar in your stomach.
Okay.
Basically, it's refined sugar. So the carbs you kind of use up and you burn off, and then all that refined sugar. So it's like you wouldn't eat a chocolate bar all the time, right? But you do with pasta. So
how come the Italians and the fucking French all look
it's a
good,
different type of pasta. So it's fresher made. It's made straight from the grain. It's not used from those super grains or whatever.
Okay.
Also, the way they process it is different, and they have a very relaxed lifestyle. But you look at Italians when they get older; they're all overweight.
Yeah.
They have heart problems.
Yeah.
They do live a bit longer, but those are the things that are associated with it.
It's like even my doctor, when I did make it once over a year ago, he
my
said
opinions,
he said
doctors
he said Mediterranean diet for you: red wine, stay off the beer.
Good.
Yeah, but
I love beer too. I had my first beer as well.
Did you?
In a year and a half, I had it 2
What
weeks
did you have?
ago. I had 3 in total in the day. I was over in Manchester and I visited a friend of mine, and he was like, "Well, let's have a beer." And we had there were cans, you know, the little cans, but they were like 7%, but we divided them by 2 cans, and it was weird because I was chatting with them, and I'm like, halfway through the conversation, I'm like, "Geez, I really love Matt." You know, you know that because we used to live together for 4 years back in London. I only see him every couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's true with a very good friend. You know, when you're in their company, you're like, "Oh, I just feel so relaxed. I can say whatever I want. This is perfect." You know? But I felt that even more, and I was there going, "Geez, I must really love Matt." In my head while we're having a chat, because I feel really relaxed. And it wasn't until we got in the car, me and Emma, afterwards, and I was like, "Geez, I really love Matt." She's like, "Dylan, you did drink a beer." And I'm like, "That's what it was. That's what it was."
Wow.
So I noticed this like little change, right? And then we got back to her house, and then I had 1.5 cans. I didn't even finish the second one, and I did. That was fine. No appeal.
Okay.
I don't feel like drinking again. But back to the point, what I was saying. Because I quit everything for so long, now that I come back to the food, I have very adverse reactions when I eat stuff that's not super healthy.
So do you eat any bread at the moment?
I'll be honest. The last few weeks I have. My weakness is burgers.
Yeah.
So and you can get good burgers in Dublin now. Like a really good burgers, like Wow Burger, Bunsen. Even Five Guys pumped up their because I had Five Guys before they had their Irish Times interview.
Yeah.
And they were destroyed. And then I went in afterwards because everywhere was closed and I needed a burger.
Yeah.
And I needed a burger. And it was gorgeous, man. Their chips are amazing. So that's what I eat, but generally no bread. And then I had pizza 2 days ago. I'm in a rash, and yesterday my mood was off.
And pasta. So what would you eat then normally? Do you eat like for breakfast? What would you have? Eggs?
I have a 3-egg omelette with spinach and tomatoes.
Okay, that's very healthy. And
every morning.
And what about lunch?
Oh, it depends. Because I'm out.
But you wouldn't go for a sandwich?
Never. I would
and
never.
You never have
order
pasta.
I never have pasta.
Yeah, okay.
And if I am going to have carbs, I generally would have like brown rice or buckwheat.
And what about potatoes? Are potatoes wrong?
Potatoes I eat, but there's nothing to them.
Like baby potatoes are fine to eat, are they?
They're grand, but they're not amazing.
Yeah, but they're not like I was.
It's just
like I fucking like I love brown toast, right? With
I used
lashes
to.
of butter. Like
I used to.
Yeah.
Now when I eat toast, I just like, oh, this is poison.
Do you actually feel that?
I don't enjoy it, because I've been off it so long. If I ate, say if you were to give me Brennan's, which as a kid, King Crisp sandwiches on Brennan's, or you go to get your chips, you put them in your Brennan's batch loaf, you know the big batch ones. I can't eat that stuff. I take a couple of bites of a piece of bread. Even if I order a burger, I won't eat all the bread in the burger. By the time I get to the end, I'll have taken out the burger.
Okay.
And I will feel bad if I eat that. And the thing is, you see all these people now who are gaining loads of weight and they're overweight and they're complaining, and then they look at people like me and they go, well, you've never had a stitch on you or whatever. And it's like, well, man, I don't eat a chocolate bar.
Yeah.
Don't eat them. Never have. For the last 3 years, you know. And if I do, it's rare, you know.
Okay, well then you
Don't
are
eat
healthy
chocolate
then.
Right, don't drink Coke. Don't ever touch any of them. Don't eat bread or pasta, man. And if people did that, if they cut out carbs for 1 month, they'd drop loads of weight.
Yeah, well, anytime I would give up carbs, but I just find it very hard.
But you're very trim.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, now, you see, I'm doing
But that's
intermittent
from running.
fasting.
Yeah.
I'm doing intermittent
How
fasting.
many
So
hours?
I had 24 hours a day. So on Sunday
No,
night,
how many hours do you fast for?
24 hours.
You don't 20. Oh, you
I
do it
two-
once a week.
I do 2 24-hour fasts a week.
What?
Yeah.
I thought you were. What?
No, I've only
You're
doing
doing
it
that way?
I'm doing it a month, yeah.
So you know you can do it the other way, where you only take 14 hours a day.
Yeah, or 16 hours. Yeah, Nuala's doing the 16-hour one.
Yeah.
And women are apparently are not supposed to do the full amount. I think it's something to do with the makeup. I've no body
Right.
makeup.
Okay,
but
okay.
I do 24-hour, yeah. And I stuff my face the weekend, and then Monday comes, so say Sunday night, 8 o'clock, I won't eat again until Monday night at 8 o'clock.
That's gotta be tough.
It was, and a mate of mine, actually Kenneth, had been telling me about it for a year, and I just didn't do it for whatever reason. And then one weekend I ate loads, and I said, fuck it, right, I'm just not going to eat a breakfast. And then I didn't eat a lunch, and I just said, right, I'm going to keep going. And I kept going all night, went to bed hungry.
Now, could you drink coffee?
Well, I mean, I don't know what the rules are, but I have a cup of coffee. I mean, I just
Yeah.
I have
You
to have
need
a cup of
something.
coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I could go all the way.
So
but
what do you do psychologically to get yourself through that when you're
you just work.
absolutely starving?
You actually have loads of fucking energy.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't feel tired because you're too hungry to be tired.
Okay.
And then you actually slowly but surely just feel yourself getting, as the day goes on, the hungrier you get, the stronger you get. And you see, I just give this. I had this thing that hunger hits you in such a way that you think, oh fuck, I'm going to die. I'm going to die from this hunger. You know, it's so bad. When we all get hungry, well, I get it anyway, that you get that feeling of, I'm going to go mental here. I'm going to fucking lose the plot. I'm so hungry. But when you realise that actually there's nothing going to happen yet. You're totally fine. It's just hunger. And that actually we put too much strain in our bodies by eating so much food. And this 3 meals a day thing is just a habit.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't need it. And especially,
don't.
so say you have a weekend where you stuff your face or you have a few beers. And then on top of that, your body is trying to kind of cope with the fact that you've given yourself the few beers and the bit of wine and whatever.
And that's why you do the Sunday to Monday.
I do Sunday to Monday because it's the perfect time to do it. And then I do it on the Friday. Yeah,
And then you do it on the
I
Friday.
do it on the
Friday to Saturday?
Thursday. And then I say to myself,
And then at 8 o'clock on Friday,
well,
give me the donuts.
That's the only reason I do any of this. The only reason I run and I do is because either I'm going to become huge really quickly.
No, you're not.
No, but either I'm going to become huge really quickly, or I'm going to, by fasting and by exercising, I can continue to have my beers and my snacks at the weekend.
And enjoy yourself.
And enjoy myself.
Yeah. Well, that's fair enough.
I tried, like last summer I went 3 months without beer, coffee and sugar. And I can't say I was particularly, happy or better or... Well, I can say that maybe energy-wise I had a...
What about mood? Cutting out the sugar.
The only thing that affects my mood really is work-related stuff that I want, projects
Are you
that
sure?
I'm on. No, I'm not certain, no.
I think I'm going to try and do a register. I was chatting to a friend of mine, Desiree. She's a psychologist. Yesterday I was talking to her. And she said, and I said, because I had the pizza the night before, and then yesterday, man, I was gone. There was no talking to me.
We see. I've heard though that that from on the Joe Rogan, they were chatting, and actually speaking of Jordan Peterson was talking about it, and he'd say anytime he wavers from his diet now and he starts eating carb, the effect is huge on him.
That's what I was trying to say happened to me.
Yeah.
Since I stopped, like if I drink a can of Coke, I feel physically ill. Like I'm going to throw up. That way.
Well, I wouldn't touch
It's
Coke.
only because my body's not used to it.
Yeah, there is that thing that your body gets used to. An alcoholic's body gets used to consuming ridiculous amounts
It's
of
crazy how much some
alcohol.
people can drink. I've heard stories of 2 liters of vodka a day.
Yeah, well,
And
you probably did a
alcoholics
good
can do
old
that.
job in drinking in your time,
I did, but I didn't do 2 liters of vodka a day, man.
No, but you probably had a good go with the number
did.
of pints. To be fair,
When I was living in Australia, I lived in Australia in a hostel when I was 19 for 3 months.
Okay.
And man, we drank. I'll tell you a story. So we invented this cocktail.
Right.
So in this hostel, there was literally like Oliver Twist type cooking things. You know, like this pot that's like this big, literally, and that deep.
Yeah.
And I started work at like 9 at night and finished at like 6 in the morning in this late night pub. So it was about 7 in the afternoon or the evening. And a load of them had gone up to the shop to buy a load of drink, and they brought out this pot, and I'm like, you're not going to drink from the pot. And they literally, no word of a lie, 2 bottles of vodka, bottle of rum, bottle of gin. You know those boxes of wine?
Yeah. 2
boxes of wine, 2 bottles of cheap Prosecco, and then they just filled it all up with juice. Right? And I was there like, this is ridiculous. And they all mixed it up. And I said, I'll have a few, and you pay a $5 and you get as many plastic cups as you want.
Yeah.
And I was like, lads, I'm going to work. And they're like, you can have a few cups for free because you're off to work. And I was 19. Most people are like 24, 25 traveling in Australia. And I'm like, all right, I'll have a couple of cups. I had 3 cups, man. And then it was all gone. And this stuff,
3 months later.
this stuff, little plastic cups, would destroy you. It was really weird because I remember a guy came out from the TV room, and no one watched TV. We were in a hostel in Australia. You know? Yeah. This guy came out and went, I just saw the most amazing video in the world. And I was like, what video is it? And he's like, there was this girl dancing in a gym, and she was doing all these moves. It was Britney Spears, Hit Me Baby One More Time. And we were all like, who cares? And he's like, no man, you'll care. And we're like, pfft. And then I didn't watch any of that crap. But then when I got back to Ireland after Australia, she was the biggest star in the world. We were there drinking.
That's your only memory of the hostel.
Little plastic cups. I have loads of memories from the hostel. Jesus, plastic cups. I missed work, called in sick twice because I was so drunk I'd forgotten I'd called in the first time.
In 3 months? That's not too bad.
No, in that night.
Okay.
I called right. Someone put me to bed, called in sick for me, and then I woke up 3 hours later, went down and called work. I was like, I can't come in because I'm not well. And she's like, Dylan, you've already called in. Go to bed.
Oh, sorry. So you hadn't realised that you'd called in. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was so drunk. I called in twice.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Well, that's booze, though. The thing is, like, I think we'd all be... I would still be drinking loads if I didn't have the negative effects of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the positive effects are great. You have so much fun.
Less
There's
ego.
so much love. Like you were describing about your mate. The chats that you have.
Yeah.
You could just stay talking all night, like, and then of course you're smoking cigarettes as well. I'd go through the face.
You have to smoke, yeah.
Smoking and drinking.
Well, I don't know. I still don't smoke since the ayahuasca.
Wow.
No cigarettes for Dylan. Yeah.
None at all. Now, there was a couple of...
When I drank, I would smoke.
Yeah.
But I haven't drank... well, I mean, I had a few beers the other day, but I haven't drank in a year and a half, you know.
So you haven't touched a cigarette then in a year and a half?
There was twice when I first got back that I started a cigarette, but I never finished them. Because I would start them and then remember the ayahuasca trip and then just throw them away.
And what was that? Just remind me of that.
What
is the memory that comes into your brain? Is it just...
me killing my ego. Remember me killing my cigarette friend? Remember I was walking up the side of a mountain and then I saw this path and there was a dude there and he was the guy that
I remember a cave, but was there a cave?
Oh, the cave was a different part. Yeah, okay. It was a long time. Anyway,
but
I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do ayahuasca now that I've got the all clear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Going to do the ayahuasca probably September, October.
There is retreats here in Ireland.
Well, I know a few retreats here in Ireland, but you remember the meeting we went to? Those guys do it in Europe. So I'll probably pop out to them.
But I think they do it in Ireland, but they kind of advertise it as Cambo and something else.
Right. Yeah, no, I know that one. I actually got in with that.
Yeah.
But I said no.
And what would you be looking for?
2 days.
No, what would you be looking for from the ayahuasca?
Things that I probably wouldn't talk about on
that's
here.
Fine.
Yeah.
Because I would say like
you're in
good
deepest
form, like.
There's days.
Okay.
Yeah. I've mode flip, you know. So what I'm doing? No.
You don't.
I'm not going to get into the deep. No, because
it
would take too long to actually get into it. But I'm talking to someone at the moment, but that's mainly for addictions, you know that.
Okay.
To keep me away from my addictions, and then because if I can tackle addiction, then I can tackle everything else, you know.
Well, ayahuasca will help you with addiction.
Yeah, no, it really does. Like, also since ayahuasca, I quit drinking, you know, and all of that sort of stuff, you know. It just naturally happened that I was an addictive person for years, and ayahuasca guided me away from that. But there's a few other things.
I think we're all fucking
addictive. We are.
I mean, I know it's different in some are more than others, but we all have the potential to be.
Well, we're all addicted to our phones, computer games, all of this sort of stuff nowadays. I mean, we're addicted to our phones, and it's crazy.
I was thinking about this thing of what addiction is, and it really, way I figured is it's the brain, the mind going, here's a peak experience, and it's a really easy way to feel happiness.
Right.
So I'm going to go back to that, because it's not like, you know, the brain is never going to go, for whatever reason, the makeup of us is never going to go, well, here's a long, fulfilling way to feel happiness. I'm going to spend ages getting to, you know, we're going to work out, going to be healthy for 9 months. Yeah. And that process, the brain obviously likes peak, you know, just wants this kind of heightened experience, whatever it is, weed or fucking that the first 2 beers that you have and you get that boom into your brain, or that nicotine feeling, or that burger, whatever the fuck it is, right?
Yeah. And the burger is an addiction as well. Food
but everything is though.
Addiction.
But I'm saying the brain, our makeup goes, well, I want that, like. It's like the sugar. I want the sugar. It's a quick fucking absolute guaranteed. I feel a certain way. This will definitely get me from feeling from here to somewhere else in a really quick space of time. And the brain obviously goes, well, why not do that? What's wrong with you? Yeah. So then, I mean, you're feeling this way, just fucking do it, like. And then obviously you kind of have to go, well, the problem with that short-term thing is that it's like, it rots the brain. It actually rots your kind of, it's like the red ticks on the Facebook fucking page. It's like sugar. It's like alcohol. It's all of those things
the red
seem to rot you.
On the Facebook
you know when you
page,
get the little fucking messages or the likes, you post something and you get your fucking, you get your 7 likes, all those whatever, or your comments, and it's kind of, it's, and like the Facebook apparently that they have now have, I don't know if it's definitely true. I'm sure we've all seen that. You know, that there's the Facebook engineers that have gone to Vegas and to study how our minds react to the cha-ching in Vegas, and they use that sort of thinking in the Facebook, getting you back and drawing you in, you know.
Jesus, really?
Well, I mean, if you have the Facebook app downloaded, you don't go in there, but when you see that little red tick appear in the top corner, you go, what's in there? There could be something nice in there. Yeah. And I mean, what's not to like about being, you know, liked?
Notifications.
Or say, here's something you've done and people have liked it.
Yeah, well done.
So the brain is going to go, well done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you can get a fix of well done.
Yeah.
But that becomes an absolute thing then. A real, like Facebook is a real thing. It's not a real thing.
No.
It actually is totally imaginary.
Yeah.
And that somehow, but still we can give our brain seems to release that little happiness
But
thing.
wait, is it real though?
Well, it's not real though.
So it is real now though, isn't it?
Is it real though, like?
In what sense? Like, is it as real as the guitar behind you?
Well, we talk about it like that Facebook is real. You know, like we talk about it, it's the thing. And what is it? Like, it's a website. It's an application.
Yeah. But what makes that unreal?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. No, but I know what you mean.
Versus anything, because
it's just this thing on a computer.
But it's become as real as a walk in the park.
Yeah,
Facebook is as real, or Instagram.
I love it.
But it's seen as real. Have you seen this on the news or on Facebook? But I suppose there's anything real.
But that's back to that matter or what matters, because Facebook matters, right? Because, okay, for example, a friend of mine, Cullen Leggett, is coming back to Ireland. I haven't seen Cullen since we were 19. And we partied, man. Like, we were bad boys in school, you know?
Yeah.
And we haven't seen each other since then. He's a recovering addict. He's like 3 children and is now very religious and very studious. He's a scholar, basically. He's going, an intellectual, you might say, and he's coming to Ireland, right? Now we would never have had a meeting if it hadn't been for Facebook, right? So Facebook isn't real.
Yeah.
But it matters. Do you know that way?
Yeah. Yeah.
There is something to it. It's like, and that's where you get that addiction from. So does it become real then once it comes into your brain? Because, okay, it's not real, right? It's not real. But your reaction to it is real. Your reaction to those likes, that's a real reaction. It couldn't be any more real. So therefore...
But I suppose, I'm not arguing. I'm trying to get into my head. Why did I even say that? I'm trying to figure out why did I say that? And I suppose it's this thing of the way we talk about it as a thing in life. And I actually think it is good for the fact that you're able to meet up with a friend like that.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of examples of that too. And I think that's good. I think it's this, you see, I suppose maybe it's Instagram is the worst that I've seen. That I see all these posts going up now, and I actually find it disgusting. I can't, and I would have partaken in it at one stage, but now I go, and I still partake in it.
It's so much ego in Instagram, I think.
Hashtag gratitude. Have you seen all these fucking gratitude things? And
grateful for what?
Well, it's a thing that people, want to be grateful in life, and so that they put
because they've been told that if they're grateful, they'll get the
Reddies.
Yeah.
It is the truth.
It is. Supposedly being grateful is the best thing in the world.
Yeah, so be really, 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 really grateful.
Yeah, if you're super grateful,
even if you're so fucking angry and full of hate, I'm really grateful. But if I type, I'm grateful, then that means I'm grateful.
Yeah, you got to really feel it, right?
But that it becomes a thing, a part of our lives, and like I partake in it, and I fucking like the whole year on us trying to do that social media thingy, TV station, was trying to launch something on it, and I found that horrendous. Really, that we were kind of, especially myself and Emmett, were looking at the number of likes and views and all that, and it was kind of going,
sucking you into a hole.
Well, it's kind of like the pat on the back for doing something good. So you do something good, you get the pat on the back. Oh, well, I'll do that again and I get the pat on the back. Will I, Mammy? Will I, Daddy and Mammy and everybody in life give me the pat on the back?
Yeah. I feel better. I suppose there is that. It's a beast, the internet. It's a beast. But does it matter? It does matter now.
Yeah, well, it's absolutely part of our lives.
Do you know what the weird thing is? And this is mad. We were born before the internet became mainstream.
Yeah.
Maybe it was somewhere in a dark room. But in the 80s, it only came out 89, right? 89, 91?
Yeah. Between
those sort of times. So we were around before the internet. But there's kids out there now, their whole life is based around the internet, right?
Yes, that's a real thing. Actually, I was reading, fucking Dan Brown, the guy who writes those conspiracy theory books. They really are trash fiction, but you're not going to read his latest book, but his latest book talks about there's this new species that is going to take over humanity, and you're waiting for this big, and it shows it's the fastest growing species that is going to surpass humans, and it shows robots. From the it's machines, it's devices, and that the only way is like Elon Musk thing of integrating with the machine. Otherwise, it's just suddenly going to one day go. It's become such a part of everything we do in our life, and that slowly but surely it's going to be the new species of the world and take over us.
It's true, man.
And then it plotted on this kind of evolutionary chart. That this is the way they were described. It's fiction, like, but that you had all the evolutions of the various different types of animals and humans and blah 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 and blah blah, and then you show the machine
and doing the same thing.
And so that if you take it,
that's actually quite clever.
It is quite clever, His thing is he is clever like that. But so then take it another 40 years in, or whatever it was, 20, 30 years. And they talk about the singularity, and we're all fucked, like.
Well, there's a t-shirt idea right there.
Go on.
Where it's like a processor, and there's a huge block. And the processor just gets tinier and tinier and tinier, and it just says evolution. Yeah. You know the way we go from monkey into man.
Well, actually, I think it would
be the opposite. It would be big into little.
Or the extension of the monkey into man thing is then a little squirt of a chip.
Yeah, just like a corner of it.
Yeah.
It's weird because I was watching Aliens Covenant last night. Is it Covenant? And the whole basis is that an AI creates aliens which will wipe out humanity, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally feasible. When I did my ayahuasca thing, that's what I saw. I saw us being wiped out completely and utterly. Like,
Jesus, real pleasant, was it?
oh man, I saw everything was torn down in my eye.
Really? Yeah.
The church spires melted, everything collapsed. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Really, really, really happy.
Yeah, Jesus, ayahuasca. Like, I'm scared to do ayahuasca again. I'm scared to do it again.
You wouldn't go and do shrooms?
I will be doing some shrooms
in
the near future with a close friend of ours.
Okay, in a country where it's legal.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
I would do mushrooms again.
I'm definitely going to do mushrooms.
I do mushrooms again because they're from. You can grow them in Ireland, and I think there's something.
Liberty bells that grow here.
Yeah, but it's quite difficult to get them. Is it? Liberty bells.
If you go to a field, you can pick them. I don't know how they'd work in this weather.
Well, you're talking September, October.
Yeah. But oh man, they're very strong though because they're only tiny. You don't realize.
Yeah.
Speaking of mushrooms.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm an addict, and I've been dosing myself with mushrooms for the last 3 months, and the results are positive. I've got my mother on them.
So on what? Lion's Mane?
Lion's Mane. Because my mother, it runs in her family of having like dementia and Alzheimer's sort of thing.
Yeah.
And lack of sleep leads to things like that. And me and my mother, well, my father and my sister, as soon as their head hits the pillow, they're asleep. Me and my mother have had wandering minds, you might say.
Yeah.
And we stay up late. And that affects Alzheimer's and stuff like that in the future. Now, if you take Lion's Mane, because it's reconnecting the neurotransmitters in your mind. Lion's Mane, by the way, is a type of mushroom you get in capsule form. You take it twice a day. Then it reignites your memory. Now, from a stoner, and this is to all stoners out there, from someone who smoked marijuana for 15 years or whatever, 16 years continuously, I never thought my memory would come back. I never thought I'd be able to communicate or remember or figure things out the way that I used to.
Yeah.
Because I just destroyed my brain. Like forgetting things. So, like forgetting a thought that I was having mid-thought.
Yeah.
Like, oh, where am I? When I'm sober, not even when I'm smoking. That's sort of bad. And since Lion's Mane, I took it for a month straight with nothing else. My memory is better now. I notice a difference.
Yeah.
Now, on top of that, so it depends on the day. Like if I need to really focus on something, I found that if you don't have a focus for your mind while you're taking it, it's not going to be good for you. Like I found if I was depressed and I took it and I didn't focus on something, I would focus on the depressed thoughts.
Okay.
And so they kind of expanded.
Okay.
And were magnified. So I found myself like, I gotta get away from that stuff.
Yeah.
But then I reapproached it and like, if I have a focus for the day, let's say I'm studying, or let's say I'm writing a short story, or I have to paint the kitchen, which I'm doing this week. I'll take one of those in the morning, and boom, I'll do it. Now, otherwise, I take reishi and cordyceps.
Yeah.
So I'll take a reishi in the morning, like today. Yeah. So I was up late last night, and I knew that like, maybe my brain will be running a bit slow. If I take a Lion's Mane, I'll be too analytical because I become kind of robotic. Because I go, all right, this is why I'm going to break everything down. So what I do is I take a reishi, which just sort of gives you a nice clear, it just is really good for your body. And then I take a half a cordyceps in the end of my coffee. Because a whole cordyceps, that stuff is intense. Yeah. So I take a half a cordyceps and I mix that in, and then boom, I have energy. I'm clear-minded for the day. And the second half of the day, I take a reishi. And it affects me. Now, you went to LA, I heard. I met Paul Stamets and did all of that. I'm jealous of your life sometimes, Frank. I'm jealous. I would like to have had a conversation with Stamets.
No, I didn't. To be honest with you, I didn't have a long conversation with him. But I was going into it. This was going to be a new business venture. I thought because when I was running, I was taking Lion's Mane and cordyceps, and I thought.
At the same time?
At the same time, yeah.
Twice a day?
Twice a day or whatever.
Is that not a bit too intense?
No, I took the dose in the morning time. It wasn't twice a day. I took the 3 capsules or the 2 capsules of each, whatever is the designated amount.
Yeah, but you don't take it twice at the same time, do you?
Well, I took them in the morning time. Anyway, look, that's what I followed whatever the guidance was, and I just thought this is fucking great. Yeah. And I was running at the time, and I thought, right, this
better breath with the cordyceps. Yeah.
Everything that I'd read, I started to believe this is the case. And so then I looked into it and I thought, right, well, I'm going to fucking see, can I bring these to Ireland? and I went and I met a professor down in Limerick, and I went through the whole papers of all these. Because first of all, I sent an email to Paul Stamets saying, any chance I can, are you interested in allowing me distribute these products in Ireland? And he said, basically, I said, I'm getting in touch with this other company as well. And he goes, if you're talking to this other company, I want nothing to do with you.
Right.
In his first email back to me. And
I love it.
and here is, 60, 70 paper of, research that's done on all of these different...
And he gave it to you.
And he gave it to
Amazing.
me. Plus some piece of information that shows that they studied this other company's mushrooms versus theirs. And basically it was literature to show that his were great and this other company's wasn't. Which I thought, but I suppose, I thought it was kind of interesting that he would slate another company so badly. So then I said, look, I had a feeling about this other company, interestingly enough. I'd be much happier just talking to ye. And then he put me in touch with this distributor in Norway.
Right.
And so at the same time, I just kept researching it, kept studying it, I kept trying different ones. So there's his products, and then there's the Californian guys, the mushroom coffee lads. I don't know if you've seen those coming up in your feed, but I'll show you those downstairs. And then I kept looking into it. And then I said, right, I'm going to go to a health conference over in LA. He's going to be there. This distributor's going to be there. And I'm going to study. I want to know, do these things actually work?
Do people know what they are? Should we tell them?
Well, there are supplements. Yeah, it's probably no harm in saying it. There's supplements. I found out about it from Paul Stamets, this guy talking about, and Joe Rogan, and him saying that these supplements really, really good for cognitive. Another one is really good for energy. Another one is good for sleep.
Yeah.
Another one is good for inflammation and for fighting.
That's the Rishi.
Yeah, and these are all apparently magical, but legal supplements. That's a fair description.
Fair enough.
And you see, the thing is though, I would get fucking caught up in all these fads. I have my fads, and more than yourself, you see. So let's
get on that bus.
And I was telling everybody about them, and I was saying these are fucking great. And then I was kind of asking myself, are they definitely great? Are they definitely?
Yes.
Is it just me? Then I looked at the research, and the research is obviously limited. In order to do pharmaceutical grade research on supplements, you need loads and loads of money. And most vitamin and supplement companies do not have that. They just don't have. Okay. So then I went over to LA and I met all these manufacturers from China, from America, from Spain, and I talked to them all. And I kept saying to them, look, you're telling me all the benefits that I would have listed there, and you would have listed. Have you any research? Have you done your own research in this? They all refer to the same research that somebody did in fucking China somewhere.
Right.
Okay, so it's limited research. And then I kind of just wanted to... So when I was there, there's like maybe 20 different companies there, and they were all bitching about each other's manufacturing process.
Right.
And I thought, how the fuck is somebody like me going to get involved in this industry when even within the industry there isn't a set way to manufacture mushrooms? Because basically some of them, it was just, and I don't even want to go into the detail, but I can, like, if you're interested, but just how they're grown, how the extract is taken out of them, and how you go from something that's grown at the side of a mountain to a pill, and does it still have any vitamins left in it? Does it still anything left?
Does it lose everything when
through the process? Yeah. And like, so there is demonstrations to show that actually the vitamins, they're just as good. They can show that much. That they can show the ingredients are there, but it's still. So like, I actually even had a conversation with this seriously qualified person who was going, "How the fuck do you know?" Because I was telling him I have these big plans. He was going, "How the fuck do you know you can extract the vitamins? How do you know?
How do you not know?"
And he said, well, because it's really, really particular. In order to be able to make first of all, that the mushrooms are digestible, and on top of that they maintain the ingredients that give you the benefits. And where is the actual fucking proof that they all work? Because all of it comes from China.
Where is the proof that it doesn't work? I mean, okay, have it.
So that's why I wanted to. That's where I was.
Right.
I was kind of saying, well, if I can feel the benefits, that's enough for me.
That's what I'm going to say.
So then I went and purchased the best possible fucking ones that I could find.
What ones did you get?
There's ones from... Now, I obviously had tried your man Paul Stammen's, whatever they're called, his... Lion's Mane, but what's his brand? It's Host Defense. Host Defense. And I tried those for a few months, and then I went and got these ones from China that one basically was cordyceps grown in the Tibetan mountains.
Wow.
So it's the real deal. Okay?
Cordyceps is too intense, I find.
Well, it's funny, you see, you were obviously you were describing your... the long story short, where I ended up was, if you get 8 hours sleep on a night, if you're eating half well, if you
exercise,
if you're exercising and you have friends and you have a social life, and then a bonus is maybe you're doing a job that you love. A supplement really doesn't mean fucking anything. Maybe it's a percenter. That was where I came from in the end, going, maybe it's a percenter. No. And I'm not going, I could do a great job, and just wait, I could do a brilliant job marketing these things. I could fucking sell the benefits of this. I could really, really, but will it actually make a difference? Has it really made a difference in my life? Not really.
I can definitely.
That was that's what I came up with.
Maybe I'm coming from someone who's ADHD. Mm-hmm. So for me to actually focus on something as an adult, I have supposedly all the traits of adult ADHD.
Yeah.
I find it difficult to focus.
Okay.
Like when I was so I went back to university this year which is the biggest challenge that I've ever done, because I never believed that I was capable of doing it because of the ADHD and the way I was in school and stuff like that. And I would study for exams and it would nearly break me, or for papers, right? I'm like, oh. But when I take Lion's Mane, if I've been taking it for like a couple of weeks and then I sit down to study, there is a marketable difference. There's a marketable difference.
That's your evidence. That's enough.
And I notice my memory getting better, so much so that I'm getting my mother to take the mushrooms. Like... A friend of mine, Adil, his friend has MS. Now, I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything, so don't take this. MS, don't start in. And Adil really experiments. He's a very analytical and he's a very thorough person. I don't think I've ever met anyone quite as thorough.
Yeah. And he's the guy you sent me on some of his research as well, I think, did you? You might have.
Yes, probably. Yeah. He's very smart. And he got his friend to take double the Lion's Mane, which is the one for cognitive, and then the cordyceps, which is just a general reboost your whole body, sort of anti-inflammation, right? Yeah. And the guy has to go in once a month to check scarring on his brain. I don't know how MS works, but every month he has to go in to have an MRI, or every 2 months. Yeah. And since he started on the double dose, 2 months later, the scarring stopped spreading on his brain. Mm. And that is factual. And that's not Adil wouldn't lie. He's just giving it to a friend of his.
You see, that's the thing, though. I actually would.
So do you think?
I don't think that's bullshit. I'm just saying, was for you it's true.
But if you had noticed the benefits, why did you stop? Because your brain started going, well, if the scientists say it's not real.
No. The science did demonstrate something, but I had to be really honest with myself and go, now, is it the fact that I've taken these cordyceps, or is it just the fact that I'm excited about the project of going and making, and am I more excited about the project of doing these? Do they actually work? Do they make a difference to me running? And do they make a difference to me? I had taken it for 2 months and I couldn't remember whether I had taken Lion's Mane or not. A couple of days in a row. I couldn't remember whether have I taken them or not. I went, here. This is supposed to improve cognitive ability, and I can't remember whether I've fucking taken them or not.
All right, so it takes a couple of months before it kicks in.
So I had taken them for 2 months. I'd taken them for a long time now. I spent a lot of money on
What difference did you notice from Lion's Mane?
I thought I noticed.
I feel like we're like, I'm trying to sell it to you now. Well, I don't know why.
I didn't, to be honest with you, like that's what I was trying to get across to you, that I felt if I took first of all, I was kind of annoyed that I couldn't remember whether I'd taken them or not a few days in a row, and that was after a couple of months, and I thought,
but that's being human, you know.
Yeah, maybe it is, but I thought it was kind of funny. If this is supposed to improve cognitive ability, I can't remember whether I've taken them or not. I thought it was kind of funny. And then cordyceps, I thought maybe they're giving me a boost in running, but I think I was just excited about the project of maybe importing mushrooms in.
So you stopped because you had doubts about whether it was working or whether it was a placebo effect that was happening in your mind.
I couldn't. Here's
You
what I
couldn't
thought.
separate.
I couldn't go and invest money and start up a business in terms of it because I couldn't stand over. There's no way I could spend enough money to absolutely prove. And like I went around. Like I spent 3 days in LA and I didn't really go and explore LA. I stayed in the trade fair and I looked at fucking everything, you know, from better quality chocolate to better, you know, these chips that are made from bananas, that are all these things that are supposedly really healthy. Yeah. And I go to people and go, well, how do you know the active ingredients are preserved in this thing here? And they go, you should talk to our MD. We don't really know. And then I just thought, what I got from this, and I haven't talked to a lot of people, was I went over there with a really open mind, and I got the sense of humongous amount of marketing. Yeah, like a humongous amount of marketing and bullshit and words, and if though I could have got enough evidence for myself that I could say, well, look, this is true for me. But then I said to myself, right, the reality is we're like a fucking machine, a battery operated machine. We need to be charged, so you need a full night's sleep, or you're not going to work as well as
sleep is paramount.
You need good food to fuel your body.
Yeah,
you need fucking exercise, because we're not born. This thing is not supposed to sit at a desk. It sits at a desk every day, but it's not supposed to sit at a desk. It's
crazy, isn't it?
So, and it's supposed to be moving
constantly.
So
not walking to the car.
Not walking to the car and not going to pick up the remote control. We're supposed to movement, and then social, and then work that you love. And then I thought, well, to be honest with you, I need to fucking. For me, I don't think, maybe a supplement can give you 1% on top of all that. But if you have all that, first of all, that's free. And like things like, you take a cold shower, man. If you're feeling, you're transformed, you jump in the sea, you're fucking transformed. It's free. If you are not feeling good, you've eaten bad food, intermittent fasting. And it's free. And I that's where I thought, well, I can't start a business on this thing then.
No, you're right. Okay.
So that's where I was coming from more so.
Right. So. But the thing is, a lot of people need this stuff to get an edge in the business they're in. And when I say that, I say it like, for example, I have a friend, she's a lecturer in the north of Florida. Yeah. And I can't remember, Tallahassee, that's it. Yeah. Tallahassee University. And I won't give her name or anything because it's a bit weird. But she was chatting to doctors and they all take performance enhancers. Yeah. All studying to be doctors, all studying to be lawyers, all studying to be that. They're on either... Well, not like lion's mane, but they'd be on the synthetic versions of them, you know, that way. And you have to take them or else you can't compete within the market. Yeah. All right. So these things, like you're saying that, but you're looking at it in a wellness way. And
I'm looking in a wellness way, yeah.
That's, I mean, the 5 things you just said there are the perfect sort of breakdown to how to live your life. Or was it 4? You know, the exercise, sleep, social. Yeah. And what was there was one other.
I think if you have a horrible job, but then that's going to affect you. But this is for me. Yeah. A good night's sleep, exercise, food, social, and work. And I think beyond that, obviously, then there's relationships, but even fucking that, a relationship doesn't make you happy. You need that there. But so I suppose that's why I just thought I can't go down the road of saying I can't go selling something.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the point.
That was
so it's
where I was
about the
from.
Marketable side of it. I'm looking at more the personal side of it.
So it could actually make a difference.
Well, would you keep taking them personally then? Or
I'm curious about the one thing you said when you said about Lion's Mane, that if you didn't have a project to focus on, then you'd focus on the wrong things. I'm curious about that. Yeah. Because I did find at the start, I found an adjustment period of a week almost from Lion's Mane, that it was kind of, I realised that you could go down rabbit holes. Yes. And it wasn't good necessarily.
No.
So it obviously did. It's not like they were nothing. They obviously had some sort of an impact, you know?
Yeah, well, I think another thing I heard is that you need to be... Because what it does is it re-sparks neurotransmitters, right?
That's what it says that it does.
So if you don't use new parts of your brain, if you're not studying something new, you're not igniting neurotransmitters anyway, and so therefore there's less for it to build on. Yeah. Well, if you come and you're like, okay, this is a new subject, I'm going to read a book that I haven't read before about something that I'm not comfortable with, so my brain has to sort of kick in. Yeah. And you're on the lion's mane, then it's just like giving it, it's like a nitrous in a car, you know, you just give it a little. But I don't know. But you see, I don't know yet. I'm only starting. Let's see how it works with my mother.
Yeah, I'd be interested if you don't say anything to her, though.
What do you mean?
Well, you see, because
Because you think it'll work like a placebo.
Well, I just think, like, I gave them to my mother. We're the same. Like, I gave them to my mother, and she goes, "Yeah, no, I think I'm feeling. I'm just going to make." Yeah,
How long have we been here?
I don't know. Have I turned it off again? The red dot is still on, and the red dot is off. Here's the fact, right?
Right.
If you take a psychedelic. And that's a psychedelic grown of the earth. You take a magic mushroom.
Yeah.
Man, you're going to know about it.
Yes, you
They
are.
definitely work.
Yes,
and they have
do.
a boom. I mean, you're going to know
work.
about
There
it.
you are.
And so there's no denying
Whether
that,
you want to or not.
yeah, and whatever is happening with that particular substance, it's a reaction, and it's clear. Now, obviously, supplements are way more. They're a food, and you digest them. And I just kind of wanted something more blatant that I could hand in heart say, yeah, that has made a positive difference in my life. Now you have a good example. Even if I had one or two of those that I found myself, but then you see it's very hard to kind of as well say here's the before, here's the after, because it's hard to remember. You almost take for granted the changes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, like, as well, you're living pretty healthily. On top of that,
well, not the last few months. I've been eating rubbish, but generally, yes.
Yeah.
Generally, I eat very healthy. But this is what I was going to say. You know, your 5 changes.
Yeah.
Those
well, 5
you
things in life that
Well,
are free. Yeah.
You've sort of learned those over the last few years of exploration, right?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
So it took a lot of time to figure that out.
Well, I suppose it did. Yeah. That I realised there's a quick fix of a supplement's not going to do the job, even if it's marketed beautifully and looks lovely. There's really all those things are. I like the idea that something is free and that it's there already,
And it can benefit you.
Like the intermittent fasting, I notice it, and it's free. Like,
Yeah.
But then it's pain. Nobody wants the pain and the hardship of it.
It's the quick gratification people are looking for.
Yeah, well, I'm
Give me
looking for
your
that too. Give me a cup of coffee in the morning time. Set me free.
I think it's great as well that these things are all happening. You know, that we're talking about this sort of stuff, that this is happening. And
Do you think it's an age thing, though? Do you think it's just our age?
no, I don't. I think it's a younger thing now is happening as well. I think just the dialogue is there for like expansion and growth of person. And I think, well, people are starting to view the world in a different perspective. Unfortunately, the majority of people are still living like, because it's easier just to not question.
Yeah.
Because, look, I find this, that when I really start to question the things, it gets worse for a while. You know that way? Yeah. Like, I question my existence and I question who I am and what I'm doing at the age of 37 and where I am compared to where I pictured myself being, right?
Yeah.
And so once you start questioning those things, you have to question them if you want to change the way you're going to live your life, right? But a lot of people are like, no, it's fine the way it is.
Well, I don't know how a lot of people are, though. I mean,
I think a lot of people are that way.
Well,
because I bring up these subjects with a lot of people and you can just see them like, oh...
Well, but you
here Dylan goes again, talking about something depressing and bad. And it's like, but you have to face that.
But they don't have to
evolve.
face anything, though.
Why? No, but I question in my head, like, okay, and maybe this is just because of the way we are. I couldn't imagine not questioning it. You know that way?
Well, you see, misery, though, is a great fucking way to force you.
I suppose it is.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's, if you're tipping along and you're happy out and you're not going, oh, well, how do I make this situation a little bit better? And you could say the great gift in life is unhappiness because it forces change. One way or another, it forces you into a change.
No,
whatever way you
look
like
at
it
those
not.
other people and I wish I was ignorant as fuck.
Yeah.
I really do.
We're very fucking happy, but you
You
never
look
know,
at some
though.
people and you go,
Do you? I never fucking bothered wondering about other people.
no,
It's
yeah,
like-
you're right.
I just
you're
think
right.
everybody's, we're all fucked, like, one way or another. we are all
And the
fucked. Like.
steeples are burning down. Back to ayahuasca.
Do you know what I
trip,
mean
right?
by we're all fucked? Like, I mean, I don't know how people, I just don't know how anybody does their
Exists.
thing. Everybody does their thing, and I just think, I have no clue.
Leave
like.
them to it. But okay,
Yeah.
so let's say...
I have no business. It's none of my business.
And maybe this is, and if it's a mute point you don't want to speak about, fair enough. But when you look at your children then, all right? So they're an extension of you.
Yeah.
But they are their own persons.
Their own human beingness.
So
yeah.
how do you look at them with that perspective? Do you want them to be questioning, or do you want them just to be that ignorant person who can just
Jeez,
go
I just want
through?
them. I want them to be happy enough.
Happy
yeah,
enough.
Happy
And
enough.
that's it.
Oh yeah, fuck man. If they're happy enough and they're, I do want them to fulfill their potential, whatever that is. I don't want them to be
that's
afraid.
a very important word.
But you see, an awful lot. You see,
You
even
don't
like
want
one.
you have to be afraid.
What?
You have to be afraid.
I don't want the fear to stop them.
That's it. Okay.
And
that's
so
huge.
then I can keep an eye on that while they're a certain age. But
learn
then,
to control their fear.
But then you think, well, I don't know if you can control the fear, but you can allow it not to stop you.
Okay.
Or you can not even. Hopefully, if you get lucky, it might not stop you. That you can do it anyway.
Yeah.
You can do whatever and bring the fear with you. If
how
that's
do you
possible.
teach that to a kid? Like, how do you?
You
True example.
So first of all, I think example is the only way. But I think you be there, like what Dylan was doing. This football.
Great name.
It's a great name. It is a great name. Great history to it. It's great artistic
good old
history.
Thomas.
Yeah,
Good old Thomas.
Bob. I think Dylan's doing this football thing, and when he went there the first time, because he was just told he was too much for him. It was a new football thing. It was too much for him, and he just totally didn't express himself. And so then luckily he got a second chance, but he still has that thing of not expressing himself. And then you kind of wonder, well, he's afraid of fucking up.
Yeah.
And so I can't, I have to be careful because I have a real strive and he fucking needs to be his best and fulfill his potential. And And sure, hopefully, all you can do is try and be there and not be that dickhead. I actually don't know. I actually don't know what you can do. I don't know what you can do.
It's a balancing act because you do need to instill that in him also, but it's about not forcing anything upon him, right?
Yeah.
Because that's not a bad thing to force it into him. Strive forward, work hard, you know?
Yeah.
It's just about the balance. And maybe some people just aren't like that, you know? Some people...
Well, maybe that's exactly right, though. Some people are not like that. I mean, you don't choose to be the way you are. You are the way you are. Don't you?
Well, that's the nature versus nurture thing. I believe mostly in nurture, but that there is a certain amount. I heard a psychologist say one time, I was listening to some lecture somewhere. It wasn't Jordan Peterson, funny enough. He's the one I usually go to.
Yeah.
But that there's a set amount of personalities deep within your hippocampus, right down in the bottom of your brain, right?
Yeah.
And that when you're born, there's those sort of 5 options. And based upon different events that happen to you in the first month or 2 or 3 or 4 of your life, one of those personalities will emerge as the strongest.
Okay.
So, like, some people are just going to be introverted, you know?
Yeah.
Some people are going to be extroverted. And it's about learning to deal with your way of handling that. But then that's always the clash, because you as an adult, say you've made it in the world, right?
Yeah.
And you got out and you worked hard and that's how you made it in the world. That's how you see the right way to be in the world, right?
Yeah.
So then, like us, like, questioning the world is the right way to be, understanding the philosophy of life.
There's no other way for me. I wouldn't say it's the right way to be.
There's no other way.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you instill that into someone if that doesn't work for them? And I think that's maybe where the clash between parents.
I think that's where you just lead, or you try and fucking find your own bit of peace, and maybe that peace will spread, or maybe it fucking won't. I don't know. I was going to say something there that went out of my head, but
yeah, but then you have people like, you know, Robin Williams, who are tormented their entire lives, but they spread joy to everyone.
Yeah.
So, like, at what point does he sacrifice his own or like, when does he stop sacrificing his own happiness in order to please others and just to please himself? You know, that way it never stopped with him. And they say that those people who actually just live their life to please other people actually become iller quicker, because they don't take care of their own sort of situation.
Yeah.
How do you get the balance?
Well, you see,
like,
the
bringing
thing
up
though,
children is like bringing up a time bomb. This is a negative viewpoint that I have at the moment, which I'm just sort of going through, because obviously I'm getting involved with a woman who has a child, and maybe there's a huge amount of anxiety on me at the moment. Like, how can I mean, you know, some days I don't know who I am, you know, I don't know how to get through the day. So how am I supposed to be able to instill a life of
but I don't think you can,
happiness
though.
upon a child,
I don't think you can instill anything on anybody. That's way too much pressure.
Maybe
but
that's
you
the
can
problem.
get out of the fucking way. Like actually, that's probably the best parenting advice ever, is get out of the way. And that's not even advice, but I'm saying that to myself now. That because when you were talking about nature and nurture, I used to say to myself this idea that, say if a kid is like a plant, right? And the plant is there grown, and if that fucking plant gets loads of light, it should grow to be whatever the fucking plant is supposed to be now, right?
Yeah.
But if, say, there's weeds growing around it,
Yes.
And that's not strong enough to survive on its own, right? It's like a stoner conversation. But say,
no,
so that means you need to take the weeds away because the plant can't survive on its own. You need to take the weeds away. If there's things blocking the light getting in, you could be that fucking thing blocking the light. You need to get out the way to somehow, kids. I think
that's a beautiful metaphor.
Yeah, but you have to make it true for yourself though too. Like, and so that's what you kind of always. I think all you can do is
try to weed the garden.
Try to weed the garden.
I fucking love that, Frank.
Well, when you were talking about there's a few things come into my mind. The way you were talking about the different personalities there. What struck me was in one psychedelic experience that I had, I literally somehow was able to take out like a choir of voices in my head. And this was this relation, this was my father, this is my mother, this was this and it was kind of who's this gnarling voice? Who's the gnarling voice that keeps going, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. Who is that one? And it was kind of like,
there's that person.
It was an auntie. It was the same voice as the auntie. And then I did a round table going, can we all agree we don't need that voice anymore? This was during the experience. Brilliant. Can we all agree we don't need this anyway?
No, do you know what that is though?
I was just think it's interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So within schema therapy, right? There's different ways, which is a type of psychological therapy. Within each person, right, you've different modes. So you've like the healthy adult is the mode that you want to be, right?
Yeah.
And then you have things like the you see, I used to know these so well. I need to get back to them so I can identify them. Then you have like the tormented child, the angry child. Then you have like the domineering parents and stuff like that, right? And so I can't remember the definitions of them. I don't know why. I will the next time.
Yeah.
So what you were basically doing there is what they do in therapy, right? Because I mode flip continuously, right? And this is when I'm in therapy, that's what I'm aiming to do, is to stop the mode flipping from like the angry child to the detached child, which is the one that I go to most. That's the one who is an addict, you know. I'm going to detach from the world by smoking marijuana or by playing computer games or by looking in my phone all of the time.
Yeah.
And then you'll start to notice, like if you start to really figure out these different modes, you'll start to see them in people when they're doing different things, right? So we all have these modes, but the majority of people level off at the healthy adult, right? So that's when, maybe not us, so that's when, say you make a mistake, the healthy adult is your part of the brain that goes like, hey, that's cool, you know, you made a mistake, you'll move on and you'll get something else, right? So most people will click into the healthy adult because they've learned that as they were growing up. But then there's other parts of us that go like, no, fuck, man, oh god damn it, I made a mistake, right? And that's an angry child, right? And so once you actually get into this therapy and you're moving along with it, which I'm definitely going to get back to, even just to understand the inner workings of human beings, you start to be able to pick out these different modes, right? And that's the point. You do these writing exercises in CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, where you start to identify the modes so that in those situations you can go back to the healthy adult instead of falling into those modes. So a long story short, what you did on that trip is you were basically figuring out those different modes within your brain, but giving them the different personality of your family, because that's where you learnt those modes, right? Yeah. And so the undisciplined child to the detached child to the angry child could have been some of those people. But then you've also got the domineering parent. There's the one parent, the way it works, I can't remember exactly, is that you know, there's that, you're a piece of shit. That's someone else who, you know, had been absconding you or giving out to you as when you were a child, and you just held on to that. There's that, you're a piece of shit, or then there's that one when you finish it, how can you think that's good enough? You know?
Yeah.
How do you even believe that you can do something like that? You know, that way? That's a different mode as well, right? So it's the difference of separating them. And what you were doing in your trip is following a very complicated psychological process, but doing it naturally with your own mind.
It's fucking mad though, isn't it?
That the fact that you banned that. Did you?
Well, there was a board meeting, and we voted that voice out.
And did that make a difference in your life afterwards? Did you notice that voice wasn't as strong?
I don't know, man.
I think maybe that it probably did.
It could have. It's an interesting story anyway, but I don't know.
It's an amazing story.
Yeah, I don't know if it...
I'll send you on the stuff about that schema, and you can see if you can pick out the different characters based on those that list.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a really interesting thing that to be able to pinpoint what the fuck that voice was.
That's amazing.
I thought that was, and that is. But then that's the psychedelic is a bit mad like that. It could do something like that.
Well, that's what they say. Ayahuasca is like 15 years of therapy, man. Well, no, taking one big ayahuasca trip is like a year of therapy. So what I would recommend to people who go to do ayahuasca is do therapy for like 3 months. Good therapy, not some cheap sort of counselor where you go and you give them whatever money you have. Pay 80 euros a week. Go to someone who does CBT. Do it for 2 months just before you go to do ayahuasca. Because then you're asking yourself the correct questions when you get there. So that when you get there, you're not going... Because when you do ayahuasca or some sort of psychedelic, you should have an intention, right? You've learned that as well.
Yeah.
So like you go, I want to figure out why this is happening. Why do I keep blah, blah, blah? Why do I keep blah, blah, blah? And you kind of repeat that. So then when you get into the actual trip, that's where your brain focuses. And that's the mushrooms. Just bring it all up to the surface or whatever.
Yeah.
So I figure like a lot of the time, if I'd have done ayahuasca and I hadn't done therapy before, I'd have been looking in the wrong places. Now it would have brought me to the correct place, but it would have been a couple of steps that I would have had to get through. And so my entire time tripping would have just been bringing me to the point where I entered because I'd done therapy before, right? So when I entered my ayahuasca trip, I'd already got to this point.
Yeah.
So I knew exactly what I wanted to look for. And then I, of course, opened up new questions.
Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible stuff, man.
Well, it's mad that it's such a substance that is available that can have the impact that it's had on you. Like, I mean, the fact that you had one, whatever, it was a week away, but that you give up
no
cigarettes.
longer smoke cigarettes.
I think is fucking huge. That it got you to look at your drinking habits.
Completely cut them out. Your food habits.
Yeah, I think there's nothing quite like it.
There's nothing like it in the world.
I remember talking to somebody about it and kind of said that, say, the thing about therapy is that maybe you can, you know, be once removed from things that you're doing badly. Whereas, you know, you can kind of go, oh, well, that's what I would do over there. But you live it in ayahuasca. So you live what you're doing to your body through smoking or whatever. You actually can't avoid. There's no
nice
feeling.
getting away.
Yeah, it's not like it leaves you with a severe warning.
But the hard thing is that a lot of the messages are metaphorical. So you get a lot of metaphorical answers, which you have to then decipher over the next year. Like a lot of the stuff that happened to me in ayahuasca, I didn't figure out what it meant till like a year later. Because I was like, that's what a fucking, you know, that sort of thing.
But they strongly kind of say, or they say there should be an integration period after taking.
Yeah, they definitely should. You should definitely chill out.
Yeah, when you were saying that there now, but I remember having, say things like when we were doing with Go Live, I remember going, oh fuck, I saw this in an ayahuasca trip. Like I had umpteen amount of things like that. Just say a day before, just like a deja vu, but in my mind was, I saw that in a trip a year previous, where time and space collapsed into. Well, like it was visions. I have a good few examples, but they're not provable. But that I could see, and I've seen.
They're not provable. What do you mean by that?
Well, for me, they're provable.
So it's matter then. I can't turn them into matter.
I don't really care about proving it though.
Okay, so they're not provable. But then why would you say it?
Why would I say what?
They're not provable to other human beings.
Well, it sounds, when I say it out loud that I saw things about the future in an ayahuasca trip, it sounds fucking out there. I wouldn't
doubt it.
But for me, it's true.
But did you make that reality then? Do you know that way? So like you saw them in the future because you've seen it in the past in your trip, and therefore you put the wheels in motion that would have led you to the point.
I don't know.
Where what you had in your ayahuasca trip came true.
I don't know.
Man, I saw some stuff. And then I studied Jordan Peterson, and the stuff that I had seen. This is before I got into Peterson. So I had my ayahuasca trip in October. I got into Peterson in December. And then halfway through studying his, actually it's about 3 or 4 lectures in on shamanism and stuff. And I read all the papers that were associated with his lectures, you know, the ones that you can find on the website.
Yeah.
And it was talking about sacrifice and how sacrifice was one of the biggest things that we found out.
Yeah.
Right, because in the past before, we didn't know how to articulate sacrifice, right? So sacrifice is, I'm not going to drink for this month because I have a really big competition at the end of the month, right? I sacrifice my instant gains or instant pleasures for a bigger goal that's going to happen at the end of it all.
Yeah.
Right? And that took thousands of years for us to be able to articulate, right?
Yeah.
So before we were able to articulate it back in the old days, we would burn animals, right?
Yeah.
Sacrificing, like in the old sort of way, is an act of the mental process that we now understand to be, keeping it until later. That way. But we weren't able to say that or process that properly back then because we were still developing as human beings.
But it got distorted and manipulated by the church.
Well, everything gets distorted.
But it really did, though. That if what you were saying there, because it really resonates, this idea, it's like this out of comfort zone. We seek comfort, but actually it's in the discomfort of being hungry for a few hours or having a cold shower or fucking running and exercising, whatever the fuck. In that discomfort, it's the same as sacrifice, I think. Is that
exactly?
What you're
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's really fucking interesting.
Yeah, I had visions of sacrifice all over the shop because I used to always be just give me weed, give me drink, give me whatever it is, give me sleep, give me computer games.
Yeah.
And I saw all of these sacrifices happening, and I was like, why is everything? Every trip I had, I was kneeling in front of a fire.
It's fucking earn it though, isn't it? It's like when you stay off the booze for a month and say you have a big occasion planned, or there's a big lads get together, or there's a big.
And you'll enjoy it more.
You fucking will. And having it all the time, you don't enjoy the shit. You just take it totally for granted. And it is in the sacrifice. Sacrifice is not the right word, but it is in that discomfort or putting it off. You appreciate everything. So then have the video games. Have the fucking weed session. If you can somehow stop.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't kickstart a whole...
Well, if we're going in a loop now, just to loop us back to the carbs thing we were talking at the beginning, it's the same with the carbs. If I tell people, listen man, don't eat bread, don't eat pasta for a month, they go like... it's like they're having like the sunlight has come in and they're a vampire, right? And it's like, look man, if you sacrifice this for 2 months, you'll lose all that weight that you keep complaining about, right?
Yeah.
You'll have more energy throughout the day.
Yeah.
Sacrifice it for a little bit. But people are scared to sacrifice it because they're like, but that's what people do, they eat bread and pasta.
Well,
but that
thing
doesn't
is,
mean
man,
people
you see,
are right.
I want to actually now give up toast. I want to give up toast, but toast and butter, man. If I can give it up, I might give it up for a month. I'll give it up for a month.
All carbs for a month, see what happens.
What do you mean all carbs? Do you mean potatoes?
I mean fucking everything, yeah. And then you look at every package you get, and anyone out there, look at every package you get in the shops now.
Yeah.
They all have carbohydrates in them. I mean, if you're cutting out carbs, then you have to look at every packet and just not eat it. Everything you has, every single thing, go into a supermarket, every single thing will say carbohydrates of which sugars. Everything. And it's poison.
But so have you? Do you think though? I think by giving up carbohydrates, because there's a huge amount of evidence as well about carbohydrates affecting your brain and your focus.
Yeah.
That you don't then have the kind of the spikes during the day.
Yeah.
Do you not think that has really helped your focus? I'm not taking away from the supplements.
No, because I've been eating carbs since I started taking the mushrooms.
Okay.
This year I've been off. Remember I told you?
Yeah.
Because I fell back into weed for a month.
Okay.
And while I was
a month.
a month. That's what I mean. That's what I mean with me. I can't touch it.
Yeah.
Because I went, yay, I got a good clear diagnosis. Like the first half of it in the January, I'll have a joint just to celebrate. And then literally a month later, my girlfriend was calling me from Manchester, going like, you have to call me. Like this is weird.
So you just can't smoke it then?
I can't go near it because I will literally disappear, and then she doesn't hear from me for 3 days, and she's like,
"And what can I talk about? What are you
computer games? Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
what game are you playing? Just
at the moment, Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
The original has been remastered. It's like one of the hardest games out there. It's unbelievable.
And so you've got the big bag, and not now.
No, I've nothing there. Yeah. But like, but man,
when you were doing that, just when you were,
I had a friend. I met this guy flukily who was helping me out, and he stopped helping me out because I messed him up one day. But the guy was getting the best marijuana in the world.
Right.
The bet like the other week. When did I stop? About 3 weeks ago. But I got this stuff called Cali. Right, you pay €100 for like 3.5 grams, but it's like THC levels of like 28%.
Right.
But like regular THC levels are like 15%, and your mind is blown. So this stuff, you're just gone.
Right.
It's gone. And that's what I like, because I'm just gone.
Right.
And I don't communicate. I'm bad with my family. And then after about a month, I start realizing, because I did that for years, and then I start going like, because I can't think, and like I can't process stuff properly.
Oh, fuck that then.
So when work comes up, I'm just like, oh, you know, I can't be arsed. Well, normally if work comes along, I'm like, let's fucking do this shit, you know. And then I stop calling my girlfriend. I stop seeing my family. I just start sitting in. I start ordering every day, just like burgers and fucking shit. So it's not like for me, I just smoke and then that's the problem.
Yeah.
Everything breaks down. My social life breaks down.
Yeah.
My eating habits break down. I don't exercise.
Yeah.
Right? I don't such. So all the 5 things that we were talking about, they all go out the window if I have one joint.
For the good times.
For one joint.
Fucking hell.
So that's why I can't.
I'm always kind of interested in when I see you see the lads, the likes of Joe Rogan and all that crew smoking a humongous amount of weed every day. How the fuck did they function in the
They don't
world?
function as well as they would do without it.
Well, they gave it up for
a month.
For a month,
And Rogan couldn't sleep.
And Rogan was saying that he was he's not a nice person.
No.
Off the
he's
weed.
not, because he hasn't learned to regulate his emotions since he was 20 something, because he uses the marijuana as a regulator for his emotions.
Okay.
So I do the same thing. If I smoke marijuana, I was always considered quite cool because I wouldn't react to people. I would just be quiet and just like,
Yeah.
you know. But I didn't realize people thought I was stupid as well. But I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
But when I'm not smoking, I'm always. I dated a girl in school. No word of a lie. 17, and then she goes to me, and we dated for a month and then broke up. Do you remember that way you used to do that shit?
Oh,
and then
stop.
we went
So
back
many
out.
women, man. Go on.
And then we went
That'll
back
be
out.
another podcast.
Went out for another month a year later, and then I was like, because I was talking to her about smoking weed, then she's like, you smoke a lot of weed, and I was like, yeah, sure, I was stoned every day of the last time I was with you, and she's like, oh, that explains it. And I was like, didn't you notice? And she's like, nah, I just thought you were a bit stupid. And I was
Really?
like, oh, right. Okay.
I don't think anybody that I would know you would ever use that word.
Yeah, but
For you, like just as an interesting
at
thing.
that point, a lot of my friends would be easily, you know, we'd all be in the same sort of level of intelligence.
Yeah, well, I'm saying I would say that you'd err on in your ability to consume information, that you would err on the more intelligent side than the. No, not at all. You said I was really slim there, so I thought I'd pay you back.
Oh, that's all it takes. You said I was fresh faced.
You said I was really,
Well, thank you. Well, I do have a high intelligence, which means, but then you hear fucking Jordan Peterson. Like I have 147 when I did it when I was 15. So
147 IQ.
Yeah.
Fuck. That seems high.
That's on the. It's very high on the. That's the Wechsler intelligence scale, right?
Right.
That's a combination of a whole load of different tests that they put together.
Yeah.
And I scored 147 as a kid. 150 is genius, and the average is between 80 and 120.
Yeah.
And like if you're in 132, you're going to Harvard. You know.
Right.
So I had a very, very high IQ.
Yeah. I'm not surprised by that. Fucking 147,
Yeah. But my fiscal intelligence is 132 at the moment.
What's fiscal intelligence?
All right, so you have 2 types of intelligence. You have your fiscal or your fluid intelligence, which is the speed in which your neurotransmitters connect with each other, and therefore how quickly you can figure something out, right?
Yeah.
And then you have and I keep forgetting the name of this. I think it's composite intelligence. That's completely wrong. I know it's wrong. But your other type of intelligence, which is the gathered information that you have over the course of your life. Right?
Okay.
So when
That's your hard drive.
Yeah. So when you do a Wechsler, and your fluid intelligence decreases as soon as you hit your 24, starts going down, right?
Yeah.
For the rest of your life, it'll go down.
It has to be going down.
And that's why
43.
That's why that
going
lion's
down.
mane is supposedly good, because it'll keep them sort of functioning.
Okay.
But your other intelligence stays the same. That's why young kids can think quick and move fast on their feet, but they haven't got the the gained knowledge of life experience.
Okay.
So your fluid intelligence test or your Wechsler intelligence scale is the scale that registers your intelligence. That's a combination of both. Mm-hmm. So you do all these different tests that combines the 2 of them. But you can do a thing called progressive matrices. What's his name? Raven's progressive matrices, which is just like a way of testing your fluid intelligence.
Okay.
Which is much quicker and much easier to do. You don't need a professional to do it to you. You could do it on the internet.
Okay.
And you can figure out your fluid intelligence. So mine's 132, which is still pretty high.
Yeah.
When I was 147, I'd be in the top 2% of the world.
Yeah.
In terms of IQ. But the really shit thing is, Generally, IQ is within Western society. Now, this is very important. Within Western society, is a predictor of success. So the higher your IQ is, your chances of success within Western society basically can be measured against that.
Yeah.
However, with me, I use my IQ to destroy my own mind for a long time, right? So I'm not a very successful individual, which is counterintuitive to what my IQ says. Like, I should be extremely successful. Based on those sort of things.
Yeah.
But the other thing that really helps contribute to success is conscientiousness, being organized and diligent.
Did you do fucking your man's test online?
I didn't do it.
Okay.
I didn't do it because I was scared, because I know that my conscientiousness will be down here, my fucking artistic side things will be up here.
Yeah. Why didn't you do it?
I got afraid. I'm gonna
About
do
the
it.
truth, like I did it.
And what is yours? Are you conscientious?
I think all I know is
what about neurotic?
one thing, everything was fine. Some high, some low. Conscientious, I'm sure, was good. But I know that in organisation, which you can fucking tell from my room, there's one thing about the ability to live in chaos.
Sign of a very high IQ, by the way, Frank.
Well, so I was down in the fucking I actually did it again because I looked at it going, that can't be true. That's, in other words, that I can arrive at my desk and my desk can be absolute. I can leave it as a mess and I won't even notice it. I just keep on doing my job or whatever. But it was down like I was in the 1%.
Right.
So which means like total chaos.
Right.
Which kind of made me, and then I did it. I actually did it again under a different email address because you can't repeat it.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
it went to 12%. But then I knew, you see. So the truth is probably
things different.
I was changing it.
That's
to make
why
it
they say you should just do it once.
Yeah,
because you'll alter it yourself to suit yourself. I didn't do that one. I did do the self-authoring, and I'm doing it a second time now.
Okay.
Self-authoring, I think, is paramount for most people.
I think the self-authoring thing is very good, yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially for processing older information. I find that part very difficult to pass.
Yeah, I'm actually bursting to go to the fucking toilet now. I keep talking.
Yeah.
So what, will we finish up?
We should. Well,
We'll finish up.
We could talk like this for days.
Fucking hell, I'd say we're going. I assume
That feels like hours, man.
I don't know. I don't think it is hours, but it could be. It could be a little bit. Thank you.
No worries, Frank.
I'm going to turn it off.
Yeah. All right.
Open the windows, but I think it looks like the green light is still on.
So it's still live. Anyone watching? Anyone?
I haven't a clue.
No idea.
2 hours.
It was easy 2 hours.
Yeah, it's 2 hours. Actually, do you know what I'll do? I'll do this Control K thing.
There was an evolution. Oh, what's that?